Now, this is what is messed up in history. We see that list. 19-time All-Star.
Yep.
Total rebound champ. 6-time NBA champ. 11-time All-Defensive. Rookie of the Year. 6-time MVP. 2-time scoring champ. 4-time block champ. 15-time All-NBA. All-rookie team, don't matter. 2-time Finals MVP. Right? And they gave Jordan the GOAT.
That fucked up all the credibility.
They gave Jordan the GOAT in 89-90 with not one championship.
Yep.
Right here, you broke the code. You broke the code that said none of this shit matter.
Yep.
So stop using it then.
Because you're not using these metrics.
You didn't use it when you removed Kareem. You didn't use it when Bill Russell got moved. Yep. You didn't use that shit against Magic Johnson and Bird. You removed these dudes from the GOAT debate because of how Jordan looked.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom. Welcome. I am Ajani the Exposer, and y'all have now been exposed by the Exposer. I appreciate it. And enjoy. I am called Ajani the Exposer. You guys are being exposed today.
Your opinion, I guess.
Move on from it. It was the 90s. That's it, bro. Move on from that. You don't know history. You don't know basketball. You just told me I'm stupid. But look how stupid you look because you don't know
I know all this
basketball. You don't know history. You don't know jamming. You don't know schematics. You don't know coaching. You don't know scouting. You don't know drafting. You don't know nothing from that Michael Jordan's grade because the media said do that. So told you to say that. I know that is recorded, and you are officially being exposed by the Exposer, and you're going to sit there like a man and take this just like Buddy did 2 weeks ago.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Hey, get your numbers out. I had to get my numbers out.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to another Friday night exposure with the Exposer. I'm your host, Ajani the Exposer, coming live and direct straight off the GOAT James Kingdom channel, also streaming off the FYF Sports Debate channel. So shout out to everybody who are subscribers to the channel. Y'all hit that like button. Y'all go ahead and check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership as well and all the perks for becoming a GOAT James Kingdom member. Because as you guys know, we do it like none other here. We talk the game of basketball. Tonight's discussion is going to be, was Kareem robbed of the GOAT title? We all know Gilbert Arenas loves to stir up the pot. And this week he stirred up the pot with several comments. And this was one of the comments that he said was how Kareem's legacy was overlooked because people wanted to make Michael Jordan the GOAT. So, is that the case? Was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar really robbed of the GOAT title? So we're going to go over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career. So y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member of the channel because, again, we going live on Instagram. We also going live on our Facebook account. You guys know what we do here. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Discord, Twitch. You guys can follow us everywhere. This is an FYF and a GJK collaboration tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ajani the Exposer. I come out on every Friday night just to have some fun with all of my fans and all of the basketball fans and all those that like to talk the GOAT debate. Because again, that's what GOAT James Kingdom is made for, to talk the GOAT debate. So we're going to have a conversation today. We're going to have a great conversation. But y'all make sure to follow all of us on all of these platforms. All right? And y'all also to make sure to check out all the other shows that show up on a FYF's platform as well. And you also know we go live every Sunday noon with the GOAT James Kingdom show with B-League and Ajani. But tonight's episode, again, ladies and gentlemen, it is about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. As we know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the greatest players to play the game. Shout out to you, Zero Peace. Peace and blessings. Thank you for joining me. All right? So we all know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has an illustrious legacy. That we know. A lot of the Zesty Jeffries actually put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in front of LeBron James. Rarely so, understanding that, it's kind of funny that they do that. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, in some cases, when you talk to some people will tell you he was never the GOAT. But first we got to go to his initial start of his basketball legacy, because it actually starts in high school, right? And his amateur career from high school to college alone can take an entire show. I've been sitting around studying and trying to figure out what was Kareem's status when it comes to high school and college. I knew in college, UCLA, they were phenomenal. They only lost like 2 games while he played there. They won a national championship every year. They created a rule so he couldn't dunk the basketball. That's how dominant Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was coming into college. Now, he played 3 years because a freshman doesn't play back then. But even in high school, he won 3 championships in high school. So we're talking about a man who had 6 championships before he even entered his professional career. So he was dominant as an amateur athlete when it comes to the game of basketball. He was a freak of nature as well, because again, a lot of 7-footers wasn't as skilled as Kareem was and as athletic as Kareem was. And he was a monster on defense. He was blocking shots left and right. It was unfair. You need to go look at those highlights of him when he was playing in high school. I did not want to touch on his amateur career because I like to talk the NBA. I like to talk professional, and I like to talk the NBA. But I am going to gloss over how great he was as an amateur athlete. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in high school and college, that career is impeccable. It's impeccable. It's up there. It is up there. He was a dominant player, without a doubt. So that was his amateur career. That was the start of the legend. That was the start of everything. Because remember, he's coming into a league that had Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain going at it for years. So it was like, who's the next guy up, right? And 1969 was Bill Russell's last year in the NBA. And here comes the rookie, Lew Alcindor. All right, so Lew Alcindor is now coming in. He's a college phenom. He dominated the college game. Now they want to see what he can do when he entered the pros. He entered the NBA. Now we got to go back to how the NBA was at that time. They did have a league called the American Basketball Association. The ABA was around, and Kareem could have went to the ABA, but he decided not to, and he stuck with the NBA. And he was supposed to be the next big thing for the NBA. So when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gets drafted, he gets put into the NBA. He gets drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks. He's an instant hit. He wins Rookie of the Year. He has a phenomenal rookie season. And then he takes the team to the championship the next year and wins the championship in his second NBA season while winning the league MVP and being a scoring champ. That's the start off the 70s. That's the start off his career. You cannot take that away from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But there's some layers to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar career that we're going to break down, because once we get to it, we're going to really get to it. But let's look at how Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing back then. Again, y'all know I like to bring y'all footage. Let's take a look at how the game was played in the early 70s.
Jerry West on Oscar. Dandridge finally gets outside to help. McLaughlin, 3 inches taller than Gale. Goodrich gives it to Dandridge, who got away from McMillan, missed the shot. Slapped out. Goodrich gets it to McMillan. But the fast break is spoiled. Here's Jerry West, 22-footer, good.
Basket by Jerry
It's
West.
a 5-point Milwaukee lead. Long pass down to Jabbar, who gets loose for his hook.
Now, Keith, he didn't fool around that ball at all. He went for the hoop right away, and when he's doing that, he can shoot. He can really shoot. That's the kind of shots he wants to get.
He has 21 points. Wilt Chamberlain with 4 fouls. Didn't want to commit himself. Didn't want to get in trouble. He's never fouled out of a game, but he's got 4 right now. Here's McMillan missing. Forced the shot. Chamberlain right there for the rebound. Right time, right place.
Now, Kareem had gone out then, as he should have.
Jabbar again over Wilt Chamberlain. And it's a 7-point Milwaukee lead with 8.5 minutes to go, third quarter.
So that was 1973, right? And that's where the Lakers were on an actual 30-something game win streak, and they were facing the Milwaukee Bucks, and they were showing you some good highlights. We can see how Kareem played, how the game was played back then, right? It's very old school, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about 50 years ago. This is the 1900s we're talking about. But Kareem was a dominant player throughout the 70s. I mean, completely throughout the 70s, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was that dude. It was without question. If we really want to talk about the legacy of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because again, we always talk about how nobody really watched these games. The NBA had a bad reputation in the 70s. It was a league that was facing some real challenges. They were facing Spencer Haywood, who was suing the league to allow players to play beyond the 4-year mandatory college or drafted out of high school situation. They had that going on in 1969, 1970, which they lost that case. Then on top of that, they had Oscar Robertson suing them because he was trying to create a players union and he wanted to create a free agency. So that was a 6-year-long battle that started in 1971 and didn't end like 1976. The NBA was going through all of these legal battles while dealing with the ABA, who was stealing players, who was getting star players to go play over there and had a different brand of basketball. But the NBA had a bad reputation because of the American society at that time. Being radical and free-minded was considered a bad thing. This is the Nixon era. This is what we're talking about going into the 70s. So there was a bad reputation that the NBA had beyond just the idea of what people were saying with drug use and all that other stuff. A lot of those owners did not want these black athletes to be the face of their franchise. They wanted them to just go play basketball. So here comes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the star of your league, right? And the league is being held up by Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, right? Because those guys played until 1973. But now you're supposed to have Kareem take over the league for you, and he changes his name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the height of the Black Power movement of the early 70s and directly after the Civil Rights movement of the 60s. Which didn't bode well with the people, didn't bode well with the owners and things of that nature. But just to give you an idea of how the league was, let's let an author speak about the NBA, because we have an author that wrote a book called Blackball and talked about how the black players in the 70s and how their reputation was viewed and seen and how Kareem was actually attached to this and how it applies to today's NBA players.
In the title of your book, you credit Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as being part of the generation that saved the soul of the NBA. They brought the flair and the style of street basketball to the mainstream. How did this change the trajectory of the league?
So it's interesting because at the time, you would think that the NBA, which was trying to distinguish itself alongside the NFL and MLB and try and gain more fans, would embrace the quote-unquote playground style of play that black players brought to the league. You know, all of the dunking, the crossover dribbles, the behind-the-back passes, and all of the kinds of things that black players honed on the playground courts in black neighborhoods. But unfortunately, there was still this perception that basketball should be a white college men's game. This became a kind of way of disparaging the players and talking about young black men's freedom, really emerging freedom and success in the 1970s.
So you hear her explain this about how the NBA was worried about these black athletes who are now getting more money, who are becoming a little bit more famous, right? And having to deal with this radical idea of what these guys could do. Because again, I told you, they're dealing with them in court. They got Oscar Robertson suing them. They got Spencer Haywood suing them. They have the ABA who's out there snatching up raw talent, grabbing up players like Dr. J. You see what I'm saying? There was the ABA was a real challenge to the NBA as far as the game of basketball and the way it was played, because it was more free for those players. That's why Dr. J went to the ABA. They were more free to play the game that they were used to playing, what they called the quote-unquote black style of basketball. So Kareem was in the midst of all of this. But while he was doing all of this, Kareem didn't miss a beat. Kareem didn't miss a beat at all. Because throughout the 70s, no matter what happened, whether the NBA and the ABA was battling each other during the merger, through all of that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had a career that was solidified just in the 70s alone. just in the 70s alone, you can look at this career and say to yourself, wow, this man was off the chains. These numbers are incredible when we're talking about somebody who, this is a 10-year span. Between 1970 and 1979, this is what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did for his career. This is during an era where he was, for one, trying to find himself as a young man. He was completely a freak of nature as well. He was beyond thought. He was everything that you wanted a basketball player to be. Besides the ownership and white America not accepting the fact that he was a smart, intelligent black man who was also a Muslim on top of that. So he didn't help the NBA as far as publication-wise or as far as good publicity, because at that time the NBA just kept taking a hit after hit after hit about what was going on. And then you had the fight in 1977, I believe, NBA Finals on TV. Everybody got to see clear and day. These dudes are ruthless. They're crazy. The game is violent. They're nothing but thugs. Again, this is what, again, they probably were using the words that they were using back in the 70s. But this is the NBA that didn't get the good media attention. This was when the NBA was in the media, more than likely they were probably talking negative about the NBA. Even merging with the ABA, they were having trouble. They didn't accept certain things. They didn't even accept none of the ABA stats. They told the ABA, all of your stats have to be not included in any records. But not only we're going to dissolve most of your teams, we're only going to take 4 teams, plus nothing y'all did will ever count. So the 70s was a complete mixture, a gumbo. It was a gumbo bowl of so many things that were going on. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't miss a beat. He didn't miss a beat at all. He was on point. He was the man. He was top notch. Big time. I mean, big time. In fact, like I said, y'all never like to hear what I like to say. That's why I always got to give y'all information so that y'all can go run back and say, damn, at least Ajani told y'all the truth. So let's let Kareem's peers talk about what he meant to the game.
In his 20-year career, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar not only rewrote the NBA record book, he changed the way the game is played.
Traditionally, a center was post up, robotic, catch it, pass, pick, and don't go outside of about 8 feet. Kareem came in and he could shoot a sky hook from 10 feet out.
Kareem was one of the most beautiful players I've ever watched in my life. He had grace, he had style. He had the greatest shot that the game has ever seen.
I have never seen an offensive weapon in any sport like that sky hook. And that sky hook was just poetry in motion.
See, when he get down real low, that means he's mad. He's going to score 30 or 40 tonight. Now, when he stands straight up, he might only give you 25. But if he down low, you're going to get 40. It didn't matter if you had 3 guys on him. The whole team counted 2 points. So beautiful.
That's right. That hook shot was beautiful. I see you in the comments, Jay Will. You're going to get a chance to, I guess, talk about it. You keep bringing up Moses Malone. Moses Malone didn't come to the NBA till 1977. And this is what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was doing throughout the 70s. By 1977, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was already a 5-time league MVP, my friend. Shout out to you, Andre. Thanks for that super chat. Yes, today I am rocking a dashiki. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But again, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't miss a beat in the 70s with all that was going on. He didn't care to be the face of the league. He didn't want to be the face of the league. But his game alone made him the face of the league. Even Dr. J admitted that he was living in the shadows of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar throughout his career. And it was because of this. This man was a 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, 8-time All-Defensive Team, 5-time MVP. This is in the first 10 seasons. The only players to do that was him and Bill Russell. Then he was 3-time block champ, 2-time scoring champ, 1-time rebounding champ, and there was 3-4 years in his career that didn't even count blocks and steals. He took his team to the finals twice in the 70s. He won a championship in 1971 and was the finals MVP. So in the 70s alone, we're talking about an illustrious career. So remember, we didn't even get into his high school and college career, which, like I told you, that was impeccable. There's nothing you can say about that. He's that alone is why a lot of people say he's one of the, if not, he is the only GOAT. Like that nobody can match that resume because of what he did in high school and what he did in college, and then eventually what he did in the NBA. So by 1979, right, we have an illustrious career by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But the NBA's in shambles. It's not a popular league. They were saved by Dr. J entering the league and merging with the ABA. Because now they had a little bit of good publicity. People liked Dr. J. Dr. J had charisma. He was likable. A lot of people wanted to see Dr. J, especially since he was playing in the ABA where there was not that much footage of ABA games. So here it is, the NBA is entering the 80s. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird are now thrusted as the face of the NBA ahead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Because again, Kareem didn't care for this type of stuff. Kareem, he really was an outcast amongst his own teammates. A lot of people didn't understand him. He was into karate and martial arts, yoga. He was a very, very quiet man, read his books, didn't mess around with people too much, didn't do too much. He wasn't interested in all of that. That wasn't Kareem's thing. He didn't like people. And that's fine. He didn't have to. He was great at the game of basketball. That's all you need to know. He was great at playing the game of basketball. So then the 80s come around, and nothing really changes in the 80s. I mean, again, he got older. Things changed for him. That he ends up playing with a great cast of players. They started putting some great players together there in LA. Because not only did Magic Johnson join them in 1980, but I believe Michael Cooper as well joined them in 1980. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was doing phenomenal things. And this is where it gets tricky with him, right? Because when we talk about what he did in the 70s, you can see statistically in the 70s, he was dominant. Accolades-wise, he was dominant. But when we get to the 80s, the accolades kind of fall off. He has 10 All-Stars, but now he only has 6 All-NBAs compared to having 9. He only made the All-Defensive Team 3 times throughout this, between 1980 and 1989. This is a 10-year stretch. Again, Kareem played 20 years. He only had 1 MVP in this span, which was in 1980. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ended up with 6 MVPs in his first 11 NBA seasons. And like I said, and throughout it was the 70s. Now we're going into the 80s, and the NBA wants to forget the 70s because the 70s had a bad reputation. It didn't want to associate with the 70s anymore. It wanted to go on to a new thing, and they had Magic and Bird to help them do that. But here is where things get crazy for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career, because in the 80s, he made 8 finals, won 5 championships, and even won a finals MVP in 1985. But when you look at these numbers, what is the most important part? We already know the Zesty Jeffries love to talk about championships and all-star selections. So they would tell you between 1980 and 1989, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was actually better than he was in 1970 through 1979. Because he only won 1 championship. But the difference between, obviously you can see Kareem was still productive. This is late in his career. Giving you 27 and 3 and 2 blocks, shooting 57% from the field is phenomenal. And that's playing with a good cast of players and doing what he does. Again, he was known as the captain. But this is in the 80s where the NBA had a better reputation, where games were starting to be shown more. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson did give the league a better reputation. And through all of this, he ended up accomplishing something that most people don't even want to give him credit for, or don't even really want to understand what it's about. Again, that's the Zesty Jeffries we're talking about when I'm saying people, is because in the middle of the 80s, he broke the scoring title. He broke the scoring record. He took it from Wilt Chamberlain. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in April of 1984 became the NBA's scoring leader in points. He was dominant. Again, the first person to reach 20,000 points was Bob Pettit, and he held that record till 1965. He retired in 1965, but he held that record until 1966 when Wilt Chamberlain finally surpassed him at over 20,880 points. And then when Wilt Chamberlain retired in 1973, after 1973, he had 31,000 points. No one thought that was possibly was going to ever be broken. Just 10 years later, here comes Kareem, and he breaks it. And he held that record until 2023, and LeBron eventually took that number from him. We all know that. But how significant was it back then? It was significant. This is what Wilt Chamberlain said about Kareem breaking his record. He says, I give Kareem full credit for breaking my all-time scoring record. This is something that he said in 1994. This is Wilt Chamberlain. Quote again, it's a record of longevity, not a flash in the pan. The important records are the ones that take an athlete many games or years to amass. Anyone can have a great game, but having 1,000 good games has more significance. That's Wilt Chamberlain letting you know how important it was to have that record and how important it was for Kareem to beat it, because it shows you how great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. So throughout all of this, we don't even have to even discuss no more when we talk about Kareem. What are we going to discuss? This is his first 10 NBA seasons. This alone is first ballot Hall of Famer. This can be considered GOAT status right here after 1979. If he decided to retire in 1979, you can look at this and say, man, this man's the GOAT. Greatest basketball player anybody would have ever seen. But he gave us another 10 years and then started winning on top of that, with the respect of all of his peers, all of his contemporaries. They all loved Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The media may not have liked him. The owners may not have liked him, but he was respected and loved by the players. But he eventually, all that turned around because when he retired in 1989, and we all knew it, he had a whole ceremony every game. There was every game that he played on the road in 1989 season where they gave him gifts and they had a special presentation for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He got a boat at one time. They gave him a motorcycle another time. I know when he went to Philadelphia, they gave him a rocking chair. There's the famous footage of Dr. J giving a speech about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1989. He was even in the finals his last NBA season. And they were about to go for a three-peat, but that didn't happen. But what did happen? He got the respect that was supposed to be deserved. In 1989, when he was retiring, this is how everybody felt about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's last NBA game and last NBA moment on the basketball court.
That's it for Kareem now. That's it. He's out.
That's a deep moment there. I don't remember seeing that as a child. I was like 8 years old in 1989. I don't remember seeing that, but I do remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being considered one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and he had the respect of all his peers. Like I said, man, it was without a doubt. Because like I said, when you retire at the end of your career and this is your resume, this is what you've put up against in a 20-year career, this is what you got, my friends, you can't argue this resume. This man had over 38,000 points, over 17,000 rebounds, over 5,600 assists. Not to mention 1,100 steals plus, 3,100 blocks plus. He was the only one with 3,000 blocks at the time. I don't even think Mark Eaton had 3,000 blocks or has 3,000 blocks. His playoff numbers are even incredible as well. Playoff all-time points leader at that time. No one had 5,700 points in 1989 in the playoffs. Over 2,400 rebounds. I mean, he dominated the game. He played 1,560 games. That means in his career, he was playing an average of over 75 games per season, if you really want to jot it down in those terms. And then if we go to what he did as far as accolade-wise, nothing changes. You add Rookie of the Year there if you want to, but he's a 19-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA, 11-time All-Defensive Selections, 6-time MVP, ladies and gentlemen. That's an NBA record. No one has more. No one has 6. He's a 6-time champion. He won 4 block titles, 2 scoring titles. He won a rebounding title. He went to the finals 10 times. He is tied with LeBron James with the most conference titles in NBA history. He has 2 finals MVPs and should have 3. In fact, he and LeBron are the only 2 players to have back-to-back MVPs twice in their careers. Not only that, they're the only ones to have back-to-back MVPs on 2 separate franchises. So when Gilbert Arenas says that y'all didn't use none of this to exclude Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from the GOAT debate so that Michael Jordan could be the GOAT, he's not lying. He is not lying at all. And again, this is what Gilbert Arenas stated.
Now, this is what is messed up in history. We see that list. 19-time All-Star.
Yep.
Total rebound champ. 6-time NBA champ. 11-time All-Defensive. Rookie of the Year. 6-time MVP. 2-time scoring champ. 4-time block champ. 15-time All-NBA. All rookie team, don't matter. 2-time finals MVP. Right? And they gave Jordan the GOAT.
That fucked up all the credibility.
They gave Jordan the GOAT in 89, 90 with not one championship.
Yep.
Right here, you broke the code. You broke the code that said none of this shit matter.
Yep.
So stop using it then.
Because you're not using these metrics.
You didn't use it when you removed Kareem. You didn't use it when Bill Russell got moved. Yep. You didn't use that shit against Magic Johnson and Bird. You removed these dudes from the GOAT debate because of how Jordan looked.
Right? And that, again, he said a few things about Michael Jordan during that show that really got people stirred up. But he's making a great point, because when you're talking about what Kareem did, how is Kareem not the GOAT? When did Michael Jordan become the GOAT of basketball? We've had people tell us that there was no GOAT until Michael Jordan. I've heard that. People have come on our show and told us this. Meanwhile, this was Kareem when he retired.
And these are all the rings that I got. Grade school, high school, UCLA, and then all the rest of them are from events in professional life.
So this is the thing that, you know, that players say that they sweat for, that they hope to get and do anything to get, and you got a whole stick full of them.
Yeah, well, they accumulate, I guess.
or they just don't come at all.
Right, that's it, yeah.
Bruh. The man got a whole stick full of rings. No wonder why he was selling his rings at auctions the other day. The man got so many of them, and they really don't mean it. The man said, I got him since grade school. So that means that was before high school he was winning championships. and being the best player on the basketball court his whole life. This man was the best basketball player basically his whole life. Whenever he stepped on the basketball court. Like, nobody was ever better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar while he was on the basketball court. I don't see how y'all ever gonna say that. And these are it's upsetting. It's upsetting that y'all upset at Gilbert Arenas, because even this young man realized it, because he dropped this. I didn't know this. I didn't realize they put Michael Jordan's statue up in 1993, calling him the greatest player of all time.
So, October 31st, 1994, the statue was installed at the United Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
94. So at this time,
three rings.
Mm-hmm. He was already deemed, on the statue, it says, greatest player of all time.
There was an article in 89.
With 3 rings.
89, he was the greatest man to ever touch a basket. 89.
But the fact that they just went and etched out a statue, bro, and on the foot of the statue it says greatest of all time with 3 rings. Meanwhile, Kareem got 6. You get what I'm saying?
That's what I said. It's you only using it. See, they're only using it to keep somebody away when the person that's they're blocking didn't have it at all when he did it.
I don't know what to tell y'all, man. Michael Jordan and his fans, I'm telling you, we already know what they are. They're a bunch of criminals. Michael Jordan's a thief. And they stole the title of the GOAT from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar well too early. Way too early. Now, part of it is Kareem's fault because he never wanted to be liked. He didn't care to be liked. He wasn't looking to get interviews. But still, at the end of the day, when we're talking about the game of basketball, there is no way we're going to look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career and not say that he was supposed to be the GOAT of basketball in 1989 until Jordan somehow was able to surpass him. And Jordan would have had to do some things to surpass him, which Jordan never really did. So, did they really give Michael Jordan the GOAT status? Because again, we all talked about how the media changed from the 80s going into the 90s. The NBA was getting rid of all of that 70s talk. The 70s was crazy. The 70s was crazy. We talked about the NBA and its reputation. It did not have a good reputation in the 70s. But going into the 80s, the NBA tried to change it up. They tried to clean up some things. And they had some stars like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson to do it. Then came along this guy, Michael Jordan, who eventually helped the league even grow more. And they bypassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Because Jordan's a thief. I mean, Jordan's a thief. If we really want to take a look at it, we brought this up before. If we're going to say Michael Jordan was the GOAT at 1993 when he retired after 9 NBA seasons and only 3 NBA championships and only 21,000 points, then yes, you robbed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the GOAT. They'll tell you, never was the GOAT. Kareem was never the GOAT with that resume. That's what they'll tell you. That he was never the GOAT. Not only have they stripped the GOAT title from him, they didn't even give it to him. You can't have it. You was never the GOAT. Then turn around and say, LeBron, you can never be the GOAT because you didn't do what Michael Jordan did to be the GOAT. You got to do what Michael Jordan did to be the GOAT. Meanwhile, this is what Michael Jordan did to be considered the GOAT of basketball. I'm telling you, the lies that y'all been spewing about Michael Jordan is why he gets completely destroyed in today's society. Because to keep up a lie, you got to continue it with a lie. It is without doubt Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was supposed to be the GOAT of basketball. It was supposed to go from Wilt to Kareem. And Michael Jordan should have surpassed him by doing one of few things. Winning more championships, like they say, than Kareem, which he didn't do. Getting to 38,000 points, which he didn't do. Play 20 NBA seasons and get 19 All-Stars and 15 All-NBA selections and 11 All-Defensive selections, which Michael Jordan did not do. Then they'll say, oh, it's all about longevity. Kareem played 20 years. That's also a myth that gets exposed to you on a Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member of the channel. In reality, it took Jordan 15 NBA seasons to become a 14-time All-Star. That's also how long it took Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become a 14-time All-Star. Jordan became 11-time All-NBA player after 13 NBA seasons. Well, guess what? Kareem reached that in 12 NBA seasons, faster than Jordan did. It took Jordan 13 years to become a 9-time All-Defensive selected player. It took Kareem 11 seasons to get to 9 All-Defensive selections. Not to mention he has more All-NBAs and more All-Defensive selections than Michael Jordan. It took Michael Jordan 13 NBA seasons to reach 5 MVPs. It took Kareem 8 NBA seasons to reach 5 MVPs. It took Michael Jordan 7 NBA seasons to win his first NBA championship and to actually make his first finals. It took Kareem his second year to make the NBA finals and win his first championship. Now, it took Jordan 13 seasons to get 6 finals. It took Kareem 15. And then Jordan won 6 NBA titles in those same 13 seasons. Kareem, it took 19 years for him to finally get to his 6th NBA title. So the only thing Jordan ever did faster than anybody else, faster than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is win 6 NBA titles. So this idea of longevity, Jordan fans can't use that against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he accomplished everything Michael Jordan accomplished before Michael Jordan accomplished it in his career. So just because Kareem was eligible to play 5 more seasons, that doesn't remove how great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was prior to that. Because if I'm correct, I don't think Jordan has this kind of a resume when we're talking about accolades his first 10 NBA seasons. So this whole idea of longevity for Kareem doesn't work as well. The only thing Michael Jordan did quicker than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was win 6 NBA titles, which eventually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ended up winning. So that all of this that they be saying about Michael Jordan is again, he's a thief. He's running around here stealing everything from everybody. He won't let people live. He's not going to give nobody a chance to survive. Michael Jordan is out here desperate to keep his name in the works. Because he was selling sneakers, ladies and gentlemen. We already talked about this. He was selling sneakers. So I'm going to put the link up and we can have a conversation. Because I want to know how in the hell, because I didn't watch Kareem play. When I started watching basketball, I was told Michael Jordan was the GOAT. Because again, they were saying he was the GOAT since 1988, 89, 90. And when he won his first NBA championship, that was it. That was solidified. All Jordan had to win was 1 NBA championship. And it was enough to say he's the greatest player that ever played the game of basketball. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan has been calling himself the GOAT quite some time now. Quite some time. And what we have to understand is that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was exactly what Michael Jordan said he wanted to be. Just a basketball player. He didn't want the fame. He didn't want the recognition of all this other crazy stuff. He didn't care for that. He knew it was fake. He come up from a society where it was rough. People didn't accept him for who he was. And he wasn't trying to change himself for anybody. He was trying to find himself. You can't blame him. You got to give the young man some space to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Again, I got detractors in the comments. And I got Herm in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Herm.
Salute to you, brother.
What's good, man? So what do you got for me tonight? As you can see, we are talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his greatness. What do you have for me regarding Kareem and the GOAT title? Because for some reason, they don't think he was ever the GOAT.
What hurts Kareem is several factors, though. As great as he was, this what hurts Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You got to realize, yes, he was very successful early in his career, but once he went to the Lakers and left Milwaukee, he had a hard time getting out the first round. Had a hard time, you know what I'm saying, with his greatness leading the Lakers to the promised land, really. Losing to lesser teams, losing the teams like the Seattle Supersonics at that time. And once Magic Johnson came to the Lakers, really, even though he should have won Finals MVP if he didn't get hurt, but Magic Johnson really was the best player from soon he touched the floor until Kareem retired. I also, despite of Kareem's greatness as well, the NBA was about to go out of business. It took Magic Johnson and Larry Bird to save the NBA. So despite his so-called dominance, the NBA wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't global yet. All those certain factors matter when it comes to GOAT debates, when it comes to what you do for the game. And Kareem kind of put himself in the bind to where his religion and read to his personality to the point where he wasn't really friendly with the media. But at the same time, all those factors, they took a young kid from Magic Johnson, a young kid from Larry Bird to save the NBA because they didn't come along and that rivalry didn't exist. Kareem would not have got those got other stats. Kareem would not have been able to prolong his career. The NBA would not be existing to this day. So all those certain factors we got to include. And when you do the numbers of Michael Jordan, I hope you realize when you talk about the first 13 years and all that, Jordan was hurt in one of them. So you really got to take that away. He only played 12 games. So coming out that broken leg, so you really shouldn't count that a year. People would.
Wait, why you don't do that for Kareem? There was a year Kareem was hurt during the 70s. You ain't bring that up. I mean, you bringing up Jordan being injured for one season. I brought up Michael Jordan's first 9 NBA seasons. That's what I brought up. Because after 93, he was called the GOAT. They put it on the statue. He agreed to it.
Because but it's not only because of what he did on the court. It's because what he did for the game globally. How he made the game expand, and how the NBA was cashing in on so much money because of what he was doing on the court as well, and the viewership and the attention that he brought to the NBA. It takes more than just accumulated numbers to determine somebody's greatness, to determine somebody's GOAT status. Michael Jordan had all the factors accumulated. So when you look at it, it's really not a crime. It's really not Michael Jordan thieving. The media pushed it. But for us, Michael Jordan himself, he done so much for the game. Despite of Kareem's greatness, his greatness would not have saved the NBA. His greatness wasn't going to save the NBA. Hell, that was on tape delay. So,
this is what we got to remember.
Honest, though, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were so dynamic.
No, but that's but you gotta listen. Check this out though. Hold on, wait. I'll let you go. Listen to this. During that time, not only was the NBA again allowing the media to talk about the players that way, because again they had an ongoing battle with the players. So the idea was that back then they didn't want those players to have that freedom. In that same interview that I talked about the lady who wrote that book called Black Ball, when she talked about the 70s basketball and the NBA, they wouldn't allow those players to play the type of game that they were used to playing because it was considered black basketball. But that same style of basketball was the basketball that became popular during the late 80s when Michael Jordan entered the league. And like you said, with Magic Johnson, and then later on with Allen Iverson, she explained that. So she was saying that the same thing that the NBA embraced later on and the media embraced later on just 10, 15 years later, they weren't doing it for Kareem's era. And Kareem sat in the middle of that whole era where the NBA was legitimately in a battle with not only just another league, but with players. They had issues with how players were trying to carry themselves. Players were trying to make a name for themselves. They didn't want that. They were against that. And here it is, Kareem, which was supposed to be a guy that they might have liked because he was quiet, he didn't say much. But the fact that he changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was enough. You imagine you reading the papers and you're a white man in the 1970s and you have to read about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 34 points, 17 rebounds, and 6 blocks last night while the Lakers win another NBA game. So it wasn't boding well for them. Dr. J sounds better. Julius Erving sounds better, right? That was the issue that Kareem was facing, that there was no media attention for the NBA in the 70s. Magic and Bird saved the NBA as far as making it a national thing where people now were like, oh, we want to pay attention to the NBA if you were a casual. But at the end of the day, the NBA was still doing good. Once they merged with the ABA, they were doing good. Kareem and Dr. J and all those great teams and great games of those guys of that years were keeping the NBA afloat. It was a media thing because the NBA was using the media against the players, which eventually hurt them, and that's why they throw all the 70s to the curb. They put it in the closet. They act like they don't know, because if we start digging up the bones, we're gonna start seeing how the NBA was responsible for why the NBA looked the way it looked during the 70s. Because there wasn't a lot of guys on drugs. Different in the NFL. There was the same guys smoking in the locker room, drinking beer in the locker room in NFL and other leagues, but for some reason it was the NBA that was considered a drug league. And it was only because these players were too pro-black in the ideas of the owners. And that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's legacy right there in the 70s. And in the 80s, they just looked at him as the old man that played the game of basketball till he retired. That was really it, bro. That's just really it. But Michael Jordan stole that shit, bro. He stole that time, and it wasn't Michael's fault. Michael just took it. He was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take it." That's it. What y'all gonna do?
Back it up. He still had to back it up with his play. The media. If you want to go after somebody, you want to say who the thieves are. You basically proclaim who the thieves are. The media. But when you look at the 70s, the reason why people put the 70s in the trash can, really don't like to talk about it, was because most of your famous lawsuits happened in the 70s. For Oscar Robertson, Spencer Haywood, and those guys fighting for rights for the players, for players to have free agency, for players to be able to come out and don't have to play 4 years in college before coming into the league. So you had all those type of lawsuits going on in the 70s, which transcended the way that hindered the NBA because they lost those cases. So end of the day, it was several factors, but it still took the dynamic of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson to recover from those instances. Kareem, despite his greatness, wasn't going to be able to carry a league. He wasn't going to be able to be the face of the NBA, and people would just be at all and just make the game globally and make the game expand as much as it expanded in the 80s. So, end of the day, can we say Kareem was slighted? Hell yeah. We understand why. We understand why the media, and we could go to a racial aspect of why Kareem was disrespected. But to sit up there and say Michael Jordan the thief, which he can't control what the damn media say, especially at them times, how the media was crazy back then and how they was pushing the genders. There was nothing he could do. He had a big company that we talked about previously with Nike. Nike wanted to make sure that we gonna cash in on this. We all in. If this don't work, we not gonna exist anymore. So he had a conglomerate to the point where we gonna keep his name relevant. And Jordan still had to back it up by showing how talented he was, and that's why people started rolling with him. So it's more than just Michael Jordan himself, that so-called Jordan thief. Now Jordan not a thief. We still had to prove that he was great. And he would not have got the credit he got if he didn't prove how great he was on the field.
All right. Well, again, I never said Jordan wasn't great. I just don't think Jordan ended up doing anything to pass Kareem. I didn't have Kareem in my top 5 when I first started doing this GOAT James Kingdom stuff because I did not realize how great his career was. I was hating on Kareem. I ain't even going to lie on you. But as of right now, I'm going to have to put Kareem in front of Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan didn't do enough to beat Kareem's career at all. But I'm going to let somebody else up, man. Y'all know who that is, man. Shout out to Herm, man. Herm, plug in your show right quick, and then I'll get the next gentleman up.
Tune in tomorrow night for the 94 Feet Boys, man. Like I said, I got a special edition to the 94 Feet Boys. Y'all not going to believe who is going to be, because it's going to be crazy tomorrow night, man. The edition that I have, y'all going to be very surprised by it. Man, it's going to be a great show tomorrow. I'm going to bring some controversy too as well. We're going to hit the hot topics like the exposed going every Friday night. So we're going to try to follow up with that same energy, that same dynamic. And we're going to bring the heat as well, man. But shout out to GOAT James Kingdom. Keep doing your thing, brother. Man, and let's move on to this next caller, man.
I appreciate you, man. That's my boy Herm. Herm, stay in the building doing big things. Let me bring up Travis, the GOAT James Kingdom member. What's good, Travis? Before I do that, let's get Ruddy Hood Sports super chat in. He said, I've never heard Kareem being talked about, the GOAT as the GOAT like that. Granted, Kareem was before my time, but we all know who's been pushed as the GOAT. Obviously, we all do know that's the truth. We know who's been pushed as the GOAT. So what up, Travis, man? What you got for me today, Travis? Thank you for joining me, brother. What's good? Are you there, Travis?
Sorry, man. How you doing?
Ain't no hurry up, Mikhail. You can take your time. If you feel like you got something better to do than talk to me on a Friday night, I don't blame you. But if you want to wait, you got to wait. The GOAT James Kingdom member is about to speak. Go ahead, Travis. What's good?
Awesome. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is a great topic. I love it a lot. And like I said, Kareem's one of my favorite players. And I mean, you're absolutely correct. I think that like the only reason why people, kind of were sleeping on him and like were in a rush to, especially people who are just coming to the game, we were in a rush to just anoint Michael Jordan as the GOAT, just because it really takes there's a lot of hindsight to be had, and like you had to be a student of the game to kind of go back and study like just how dominant Kareem was, and that's why I have him as a top 1, 2, 3 player of all time, is because I think that he had the best stretch of 10 years that we've ever seen as far as domination peak, like efficiency wise, all mixed into one player. And even if we're talking about how many times he was voted the best player in the league, that'll never happen again, especially in that stretch. Kareem is just, I mean, he absolutely has a GOAT case. Like, if anyone says he doesn't, then they're either biased, they don't know the game. But Kareem is, if anyone says he's the GOAT, then that's not something I'll argue, because he definitely has the case to back it up.
Yeah, because people didn't see him play. They don't know about his 70s.
Yeah.
Again, all the people that were pushing for Michael to be the GOAT in the 90s were new to the game of basketball. They only started watching because of Magic Johnson and them. And then Michael Jordan came along, became the new phenom, because Magic Johnson and Bird kind of fell off going into the 90s. And here it is, the NBA is now on a national scene, because it took the 80s to get them on the national scene. So now they're on the national scene, and Michael Jordan's all we have. Let's just show the Michael Jordan. So we're not going to ever hear about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from the 70s. We don't want to bring up the 70s because it has a bad reputation. If people start reading up about what was going on in the 70s, they're going to say, oh, the NBA is, you know what I'm saying? They were trying to avoid all of that. So the NBA literally just, and that's what Kareem got swept under the rug with as well. Even I'm not going to lie, I was biased. In my mind, I'm like, man, Kareem wouldn't have 6 MVPs if there was no ABA, right? Kareem wouldn't, he wouldn't have 6 championships if he didn't play with Magic Johnson. I kind of held that against him. Then I had to really realize, like, you can't do that. Like, you can't just be holding stuff against players. You have to start recognizing for who they were. And that's why I had him outside of my top 5 originally. But now he's definitely a top 5 player, and he's definitely in the GOAT debate because his resume is incredible. I mean, did you see the stick of rings that he had? That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, man. That's just insane.
That's just crazy. Like, yeah, that's just crazy, man. That's just crazy, man. You got any last words up? Because we got a new person on the panelists, and they got a lot to say, and I want to hear what they got to say. You got anything
I'm
else
good,
for me
man.
there?
Oh, great
You
show,
good?
man. Kareem is number 1, 2, or 3 with a bullet at worst. And have a good one. We'll see you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'll see you Sunday, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. But again, if I politically correct, you ask how do I do a center and a shooting guard? We have to. It doesn't matter if you're a shooting guard, center, power forward. There's ways to measure how great you are as a player for your position and what you do. And Kareem and Jordan can actually be compared to. I have a new person here stepped up to the mic. What's good, man? Go ahead. What you got for me for tonight's show?
Right. Can you hear me? Is my mic working?
You good. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's definitely good to be here. I'm lagging a little bit in my headphones. I'm not sure why. This is my first time like really joining the panel.
What you got to do if you are using a phone or if you're using your laptop, you got to make sure you mute your YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube and you're going to go on StreamYard, it's going to send you to a StreamYard link, and that link will be another open window. Yeah, so you definitely.
Can you hear me? Hey,
I can
Ajani.
hear you. Yes.
Okay,
I can hear you.
I muted my YouTube.
Yeah, so you should not hear no more echoing or no background.
No, I don't hear any more echo.
Okay, there you go. So there you go. The mic is yours. What you got for me tonight,
that's
man?
good. First of all, I just wanted to be here, and I wanted to test. It's good to be here. How's my mic volume? I never get online. I don't know what's happening most of the time. You know what I mean?
I got you. It's a Friday night. Sound like you've been sipping on some sipping, but it's we here, bro. What you got for me, brother? I appreciate you, man. We here to have fun. We here to talk basketball.
Right. No, it's all good.
Yeah. So what you got for me about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career and his GOAT status?
His GOAT status. Well, I don't know if you know, but I mean, I'm always in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always talking shit as far as I don't know why you're always trying to say LeBron is the GOAT. I never understood it, man. It seems like a lot of people.
Are you from Facebook?
No.
You're not from Facebook.
This is Kala Mikel, bro. I'm always talking shit in the chat, telling you that I'll bust you up on the court. I'll bust you up in debate. It doesn't matter what, you know what I mean? Like I'll show you. Right? Yeah.
That's what you said. Okay, so your stance here right now is not Kareem is the GOAT. It's why Ajani has LeBron.
It's Michael Jordan. No.
How is Michael Jordan? How is Michael Jordan the GOAT?
No. First of all, Ajani doesn't know what he's talking about. That's first of all. I've come to a lot of I've seen a lot of these fucking shows or whatever on Lamont's channel. I know I've been cooking. I cooked Lamont one time. He doesn't know ball either. A lot. Well, see, most of these people don't know ball. I'll give like Gilbert Arenas credit, obviously, because he played professional ball, and like a couple other people. But most of these people, they don't know ball. They're just talking, you know. So it's funny. And I'm looking at you right now. I can tell you can't play basketball, right? From the first, that's from the first look.
That's what your eye test sees. That's your eye test.
Exactly.
Yeah, your eye test. Yeah, I got you. Your eye test. All right, and okay. So let me ask you: are you somebody who's played basketball?
Absolutely, I'll bust you up. As a matter of fact, I would like to tell Gilbert Arenas. How old is he, bro? What is he?
Gilbert Arenas is like he's close to my age. He was born. He's a before crack baby. All right, first of all, are you an after crack baby? Are you an after crack baby? Were you born after 1985?
7 years.
Okay, I know you said Jeffrey. I know you said Jeffries can't count. Math is not your thing. So let me ask you again, my friend. How old are you? That'd be a better question. How old are you?
Let me see. How old am I? Millennial. That's what they call me. 32 years old.
Okay, so that means you were born, right? If you're 32 years old, so let me see it. That means you were born in
Kyrie Irving is a little bit older than me.
1992. You were born during. Let me ask you a question. Are you gonna beat me in basketball because you're able to do a crossover dribble and I'm not gonna be able to do a crossover dribble? How are you gonna beat me?
No, not at all. Because I saw a little bit of footage of you.
You did,
Because you were brave enough to.
Yeah. You see that? I got a jump shot. I could dribble the basketball. I got a left hand. Jordan didn't have a left hand. I got a left hand.
Well, no, I could tell you haven't really played basketball much in your life. See, that's the
No, I haven't played that much. I haven't played that much basketball recently. Of course not. I'm 43.
I can tell.
Playing basketball is a health risk for me right now. I can't afford to sprain my ankle. I got to go to work. I got good health insurance.
Tell you never had anything in your bag. That's what I'm trying to say.
How can you say that? How you can't even prove Michael Jordan's the GOAT?
You shoot.
I shoot like what?
Like those. You remember when you're growing up, like those little fat white kids, bro, that don't really know the game. And
did the shot go in? My question to you: did the shot go in?
No, not at all. It hits nothing but backboard, bro, and it hits back to everybody.
It nothing but basketball. So all right. So you want to have a conversation about my basketball game, or do you want to explain Michael Jordan's basketball game? Because my basketball game don't help you in the GOAT debate.
Right. No. But see, what I'm saying is a little bit of evidence as far as your knowledge and your opinion as far as to what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because
Oh,
like
okay,
if you can't
if I can't play the
are you gonna let me talk?
no, I got you. No, I'm gonna let you talk. You've been talking for a while now. You've been saying nothing too.
Why should I trust your opinion as far as someone who can shoot a basketball? You know what I'm saying?
Why does your opinion on me playing basketball even matter? Your opinion on my basketball skills have nothing to do with the GOAT debate. Is that because you can't prove Michael Jordan's the GOAT? Is that really your problem? So you want to talk about me? Because let me tell you something. There is applications available for GJK City Girl groupies. When you want to become a GJK City Girl groupie, all you do is apply. You talk about Ajani all day long. That's perfectly fine. That's very easy for you to do. Talking about my basketball game seems to be very easy for you, but talking about Michael Jordan's basketball game is very difficult for you. Matter of fact, you can't even count to 1985. Right? So you trying to say I can't play the game of basketball means I can't talk the game of basketball when you have yet to prove that you played the game in any sort of any fashion. Where's the film and footage of your basketball game? And you taking a jump shot. Do you have an account? And do you have content showing that you play basketball?
You know what? You make a valid point, bro.
Of course I make a valid point. That's what I do best. I am a Johnny the Exposer. You take this fucking L and you go home and continue to have a drink because I'm about to bring. This is being recorded right now. I'm about to make a video off of you. I'm about to actually make a video off of you and your silliness and get paid on top of that.
First of all, with nothing as far as
because you said nothing. You saying nothing is perfect enough for me to make a video. That's how creative I am. I can talk the game of basketball, and I control you like nobody else control you.
I got you all day, but you want to talk about Kareem, or you want to talk?
Sit your ass down.
Yo, this is fucking GOAT James Kingdom. You are wasting my time when you don't want to talk basketball. I don't know what's wrong with you motherfuckers. I don't get it. You guys really have an obsession with me. Again, there is an application available to become a GJK City Girl groupie. All you got to do is take a flight to Miami and you can become a GJK City Girl groupie.
Sit your punk ass down. That old bullshit.
Shout out to Ruddy Hood Sports. Right now, let me get in my super chat. Shout out to you, man. Ruddy, you always doing your thing, man. Bro loves LBJ. He ignored the actual subject. He didn't even want to talk LeBron James. He wanted to talk about me. This is how they think they're going to win a debate versus me. Matter of fact, I think this person is called Michael Williams on Facebook because we have this dude named Michael Williams we've been trying to come up. They call him Michelle. I think Ishmael knows about him. But these dudes are hilarious. This is funny to me. I don't get it. This is funny. What up, Twin Man? What you got for me, brother? Thank you for joining me. Shout out to Twin Man, a GOAT James Kingdom member. I got people to address. Go ahead. What up, Twin Man?
Nah, what up? Great show as always, man. I don't understand why people can't just come up here and stick to topic. I don't understand what your basketball skills or lack thereof have to do with the conversation at hand. This just tells me they can't defend their ridiculous position. But let's get to it. Was Kareem ever the legitimate GOAT? For people who actually know basketball, we know he was the GOAT. Because one of the very first questions I asked when I found your channel was, when did Jordan ever pass Kareem? That was one of the very first questions I remember asking. One of the Zesty Jeffries. When did Jordan ever pass Kareem? Because I just don't understand how they leapfrogged Bird, Magic, and Kareem just to give it to Jordan. But see, we understand, and you did a stream on this already, the media push behind Jordan. You see everybody that comes up here and they're like a serious, like Jordan fanatic. What do they talk about? You know what I like to talk about? Cokehead and face plants. He loves to talk about how he used to put on his Jordan, like he'd get a pair of Jordans, he used to think he could fly, how he used to move in the air and things like that. See, that's the things that they were promoting, the NBA was promoting, and Jordan had to be the face. Got it. Did he earn the GOAT title, though? In my opinion, no. I feel like you cannot be the GOAT and you're not really top 10. Well, you're only really top 10 in one thing. Like, it just bothers me when you ask a question people get mad at you and they make it seem like you're trying to diminish this man's career. You can't diminish greatness. Jordan's great, but is he greater than Kareem? When they say he's the best scorer ever, I'm like, I understand you can say that, but you have Wilt. So it's like, is he really better than Wilt? And then you have a man right now with over 40,000 points. So how do you still say he's the best scorer ever? You have people in the league like James Harden, who's put up buckets his entire career. And if you want to say, oh, it's James Harden, is he a better scorer than KD? Like, let's be real here. The game evolves. Players get better. Skills evolve. Skills get better. No one can stay the GOAT forever. Let's take it to football right now. Patrick Mahomes wins 3 in a row. It's a legitimate argument for him to be the GOAT. A lot of people aren't going to like that because how many rings does Tom Brady have?
7.
You see what I'm saying? They go, well, Tom Brady has 7. It doesn't matter. We're looking at the athletes and how they play. So it's like, I need people to just let it go. People are mad at Gilbert Arenas. People are mad at people like you because you make compelling arguments. What did Gilbert Arenas say in that clip that was a lie? They were calling Michael Jordan in 1989 the best player to ever touch a basketball. He didn't even have a championship yet.
No, he didn't.
This is what I'm talking about. He didn't even have a ring yet.
Yeah.
But right. So to sit here and pretend like they just didn't hand him the title and he didn't do shit but lose until the 90s is insane to me, to hold everybody else to this Jordan standard. And I put that in air quotes. Because there really is no standard. It's just the standard the media has invented to try to keep this man on top. Literally, when Russell Westbrook took one of the advanced metrics for him, they redid the entire calculations to make sure this man stayed on top. That tells you how far the media and the NBA, in my opinion, is willing to go to keep this man on top. And it seems like anybody who calls that out, you're a hater. Or you're trying to diminish Jordan's career. Again, you can't diminish greatness. You just can't. But to say he's the best ever is insane.
Yeah, you said it right there, Twin Man. Shout out to you for that. And also Ishmael in the comments, yeah, they didn't like Kareem because he was a conscious objector, and he really was pro-black, and he you know, they didn't like that. They didn't like that, especially during the 70s at all, man. So I got some more people in the.
That's the only person who's a hypocrite.
Leave Herm. I don't know. Herm wants all the smoke when he hears Twin Man, boy. As soon as he hears Twin Man,
let me
gunshot. It's gunshot.
I think he's a propagandist. Herm already knows I believe he's a propagandist, and he'll say anything just because he hates LeBron James, bro. Because he can't tell me I just lied when I asked a very legitimate question. When did Jordan pass Kareem? When were they calling Michael Jordan the GOAT? 1989, right? Is these lies? Am I fabricating anything?
Oh my God. So let me bring up the next person behind you. I got you coming up, Aaron, and then I got you, Mingo Jester. I see you, Mingo Jester. Shout out to you guys, man. Thanks for showing up. Let me get these folks in. Twin Man, I appreciate you, brother.
I'll holler.
I just be wait in the background if you want to. I'll bring y'all up shortly. But you know, I gotta have my little one-on-ones, man. Shout out to everybody in the comment. Y'all make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Again, this is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I'm talking whether or not Kareem was ever robbed of the GOAT title a little bit too early by Michael Jordan. Aaron, what you got for me? Another GOAT James Kingdom member in the building. What's good, brother? What you got for me?
Ajani, you suck. Like, you can't play basketball, bro. Like, I swear, like, if we played one-on-one, like, I will bust your ass. Like, you don't understand, bro. Dude, these dudes, bro, are the funniest dudes I've ever seen. Michelle, yo, that was Michelle right there. That was Michelle from Facebook.
That's what I'm telling you. That was Michelle, right? That's Michelle from Facebook, right?
Michelle right there.
That's gotta be Michelle from Facebook, bro. That's gotta be.
He over here sending homosexual memes, but meanwhile he sound fruity as hell. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, let's talk basketball. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you label Jordan the GOAT without rings over Kareem, and that not be a disrespect But people who label LeBron the GOAT over Jordan is a disrespect to all the old school players and legends who came before LeBron. That shit makes no sense whatsoever, bro. Jordan isn't number one in any all-time stat or any all-time playoff stat. The only thing he's number one in is points per game averages. That's it. Jordan is not top five in players with the most rings. Jordan is in top five in players with the most finals appearances. Jordan is in top five in players with the best finals records. So how is anybody labeling this man the GOAT? This dude played in a crack-headed era, a crooked ref era, a crooked players era. 95 to 90% of the teams this man faced in the playoffs only had one scorer on it. The Knicks only had Ewing. And they're making it seem like the Knicks are this team, this outrageous team, oh my God, the Knicks are a super team. I'm from New York, bro, and I never was a fan of the Knicks because they were trash, bro. You know what I'm saying? So how are these dudes even putting Jordan number one and saying that labeling LeBron the GOAT is a disrespect, but you're disrespecting other legends by putting Jordan number one? Come on, bro. That shit is crazy, bro.
Y'all get mad at us for saying these type of things, but this is what y'all started. This is the discourse that started with Zesty Jeffries, because to make Michael Jordan the GOAT in the 90s, exactly what y'all heard Aaron say was what people were saying about the 70s. When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was dominating the NBA and he was winning league MVPs, he was doing everything that he was supposed to do as a basketball player, and all because he was a militant black man, they went at him. Ishmael, I think that is Michelle. I'm not gonna lie, I think that is Michelle. Yeah. Michelle, is that you or not, Michelle? Let us know, Michelle. Is this you or not? Are you Michael Williams on Facebook that's been trolling saying you wanted to show up on a Friday Night Exposure? You got to let folks know that's you or not. We need to know that. That is a very important question here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We need to have that here.
But you know what's crazy though, Johnny? These dudes act like if they meet up with you and they play one-on-one against you and they beat you, that means Jordan's the best. That's a stupid argument to come with, bro.
Well, you know what? I don't care. I want to see all these people who want to play me in basketball go play Mike Peake. He has $5,000 on his name. He says way worse stuff about Michael Jordan than I could ever say. He started a whole trend. Go play him. He has his money ready. Since you a baller and you want to beat a LeBron fan so bad, go beat Mike Peake. Shout out to Mike Peake because he be doing his thing. Shout out to you, brother. Make sure y'all go follow Mike Peake on all the counts.
Or come play me because I'm nasty in basketball, bro. When I tell you nasty, bro, I'm nasty, my brother. And guess what? I'm 45 years old right now, and I still play, bro. I'm hyperactive and all that. I still play to this day. So if you want to, any one of y'all, pull up, baby. I play basketball, baby.
Shout out to you, Aaron, man. I'm about to bring up Mingo Jester. Thank you for joining me, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Y'all boys be wilding out on a Friday night. Again, y'all, it's the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. Y'all know we on FYF and on the GOAT James Kingdom channel straight off of YouTube. But we are also going live on Twitch, Twitter, IG. We do it best. We do it like none other. We talk the game. We got Mingo Jester in the building. What up, brother? What you got for me for tonight's show, brother? What's up?
Man, if Delusional was a person, bro, I swear, it'd be them two guys, Twin Man and the dude that just left. Man, what are we talking about? Bro, the bro that just left, he just literally contradicted himself. Bro saying that Jordan don't lead in any kind of statistic, but then come around and say, yeah, he leading points per game. Like, huh? He just ain't been leading anything, but then you name points per game. Like, what are we? Whatever. Anyway, You gotta be crazy as hell. Yeah, that's just stupid. Even you can admit that, Ajani. That's just stupid. Come on, bro.
But when people say that, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But all I'm saying is about the Kareem thing. Now, see, I don't think rings is the end all be all. I don't put. I mean, don't get me wrong. I put credence to rings. I give rings a lot of credit. You know what I'm saying? For his rings wise, but that ain't the only thing Jordan did in his career. Jordan has so much other stuff than just rings. I don't understand why people just bring up rings when they come to Jordan, or 6-0 when they come to Jordan. Jordan got so much other stuff that he accomplished other than rings. Like, Jordan really is the only player, like small player, like as far as like lead the league in scoring and win a championship. Jordan is the only player to do that. Around his time, I ain't talking about like in history. I'm talking about around his time. He was the only player to do that. Now he's the only player to do it multiple times. Jordan did it like 5 times in his career. Lead the league in scoring and also win the championship. It's so much stuff Jordan did that you can bring up, and people just limit his career to 6-0. Like what? That's all y'all got, 6-0, bro. There's so much other stuff you can talk about with Jordan. But hey, I'm gonna have to school these dudes one day, man.
But see, that's the thing though, Mingo. That's what the Zesty Jeffries say. They only say 6-0 because their whole idea of making Jordan the GOAT for the last 10, 15 years is to make him better than LeBron. And they tried to ignore everything about Michael Jordan's career in the 90s and what he had to go through, other than that he was so dominant. And they don't bring up Kareem. They don't want to bring up all these guys. They're going to say, well, Kareem didn't lead his team to the championship. They're going to bring up Bill Russell played in the 60s. It didn't count. Wilt Chamberlain didn't win enough. Like, they bring up all of these things. And the winning is always the same factor. It's always about winning. Because even when they talk about Bill Russell, they say, well, at least Michael Jordan had 6 finals MVPs. So we're giving Jordan credit twice for a championship. We're giving him a credit for being a champion, but because he's a finals MVP on top of it, we have to make that equal to a championship. So, like, the problem is that, like you said, they can't explain why Michael Jordan's great, because majority of the stuff we heard about Michael Jordan being great comes from commercials. It don't really come from actual people who sat there and know the game of basketball. The game that we know now is not the game of back then. That's why now when we go watch the footage, it's like, damn, yeah, it does look bad. Because, like, you're used to watching Kobe and them. You're used to watching T-Mac. That's a different NBA. That 2000s NBA is not like the 90s. There was so many, like you said, there was so many great guards, so many great players in the game. It wasn't like the 90s and the 80s where it was only Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. And everybody else was underneath. When you say Kobe, T-Mac, like we all respect them the same. Allen Iverson, they all get the same rep. Dwayne Wade, Kevin Garnett. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's like that big of a difference. Kobe's not that much greater than everybody else. Even as good as Shaq was, we still didn't put Shaq way above everybody else like we did Bird, Magic, and Michael Jordan. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. Yeah, but that's why we exist. We talk the game.
That's what history goes on, though. See, the reason why they talk about Magic and Bird like that in the 80s and Jordan a little bit towards the end was because, first of all, Magic and Jordan carried the NBA. Not Magic and Jordan. Magic and Bird carried the NBA in the 80s. That's the reason why they got talked about like that. They literally carried the NBA in the 80s. Their teams, the Boston Celtics and the Lakers. Now, Jordan came in 84. And once he started playing like how he was playing, and he had the best rookie season of all time, averaging 28 points as a rookie is insane, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm saying is, it's just after Magic and Bird, they had to have another face of the NBA, and that just so happened to be Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jordan is great, man. We never want to knock Michael Jordan's greatness, but we just know that a lot of people make his greatness seem greater than other people. Like you said, he had the greatest rookie year. I mean, that's hard to talk when Wilt Chamberlain had a one MVP and Rookie of the Year his rookie year. This is just so many great things that there's so many great rookie years, and I think Michael Jordan's rookie year was ranked in the top 10. It wasn't in the top 5 on NBA.com. I think they ranked the top 15 rookie of the years. And Jordan was in the top 10, but not the top 5. But it's still great. I got some other folks. You got any last word, Mingo Jesse? If you want,
but wait a minute.
Twin Man.
I got.
Cause Twin Man said he got something for you.
I got one last thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I got one last thing. I was talking about after the merger. See, Chamberlain came before the merger. You know, I was talking about after the merger.
Okay, I got you.
That's what
Okay, I got you. So shut up the Mingo.
I'm gonna come back to Cook Twin, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hitting the link, bro. Cause you know some of these guys they scared to hit that link, but they claim they want to challenge me. So let me get somebody else up here. Let me bring up Ruddy Hood Sports because he has been such a supportive subscriber to the channel. I mean, hit the wrong one. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir. What's good, brother? What you got for me, Ruddy Hood Sports?
Oh, what's good, bro? Oh shit, my logo not there. Anyways, what's good, man? How y'all doing?
Yeah, I just noticed that I was about to put you up, but your logo's not there. What's good, brother?
Yeah, my shit fucked. But yo, I was gonna say, right, because I wasn't even gonna chime in, but once I heard what I felt like was a little bit of MJ slander, I just wanted to say, like, a lot of fans, MJ fans, because they're so dead set on hating on LeBron, they really don't use much sense when it comes to defending MJ. This is why you can't ask them what makes MJ the GOAT. This is why they really don't have an answer. They just start to go to negative stats or what people weren't able to do or accomplish, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I could explain it way better than they can. You feel me? Like
Facts.
I could tell someone, because we already know what they say. The usual reasons people give is, he changed the game and he made the game global and spread it out and different things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what they can't do is tell you some more specific reasons, like his mentality, losing his father, right? During those championship runs, losing his father and still being able to maintain himself and do what he has to do. Those for me are some of the reasons why I have him as one of the greatest of all time. It's just he's not a better player than LeBron James. You feel me? And when it comes to Kareem, what I look at is the whole entire body of work. Basketball isn't just about scoring. It isn't just about getting steals. It isn't just about defense. It's about everything. It's about all the aspects of the game. Teamwork, right? Your team accomplishments, your chemistry, how you are with your teammates, how you flow, can you adapt, all these different things, your skills, what work you put into the game, how you treat your body. All these things matter. And when I look at players who I try to ask myself, what is the embodiment of the entire NBA? Like, what is the embodiment of basketball on a professional level? And I have to point to people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I have to point to people like LeBron and people like Wilt. Mike was great, but his game or what he did was kind of one-dimensional. You know what I mean? You got your scoring, you got your defense. And then after that, you know what I mean? Things get a little, they mellow out. But you can't say that with someone like Kareem. He's all over the stat sheets. And this is something that Isaiah Thomas talked about. He said when the reason he has LeBron up there as the GOAT and then Kareem up there is because every corner that you look in of the NBA history, of the records, of the achievements, of the milestones, you find their name there. And you
Kareem's there.
Yeah, Kareem is there. So you just don't get that with MJ. Do I think Kareem is the GOAT? No, I think LeBron is better than him. But I'm getting ready to move Kareem up myself. But this is what people got to understand. It's really not no slight on MJ. That's why I don't understand someone calling in, not even talking about the subject, but just starts going in on LeBron. No, this is a subject about Kareem, and should he be considered the GOAT? Because
they don't want to talk about nothing else. They just want to talk Michael Jordan and LeBron. They really do. They really do. This is the second time in the past few weeks where I created a show just to talk about. I mean, this has a little something to do with Jordan, but it's really about Kareem. And we're going to talk about Jordan and LeBron majority of the show like normal. But it's all right, though, brother. Any last words so I can let some people in? Because I got some folks still waiting, please.
Yeah, just, you know what I mean? Just chilling, fam. I'm going to be back here. I just grabbed a membership, too, man. So.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we take care of our members. If you if you are a member, hit me up, bruh. We'll get in contact and we'll take care of you because I know you have definitely been supportive. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're gonna keep giving y'all good content and material. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That was Ruddy Hood Sports, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. He be holding it down. We have Benjamin Franklin back in the building, y'all. I haven't heard. I was actually thinking about you today, Benjamin. I said, whatever happened to Benjamin? I haven't seen Benjamin in a while. I've been talking a lot about Zesty Jeffries, and you haven't been to their defense. What's good, man? What you got for me today on the Kareem subject?
What up?
What's going on, man?
I've just been busy. But, Kareem's a beast. Like, he definitely top 5. I think he has second best longevity of all time behind LeBron. So, I mean, that's why he's ranked so high. But, like, as far as him and MJ, I mean, it's just really the peak. MJ has, like, clearly a higher peak. His translation is better. And then you got to dock points from Kareem because he played weaker comp. So, that's really what it comes down to.
He played tougher comp than Jordan played, for sure.
Not even close. And that's not even disrespect to him.
Yeah, no, Jordan never faced the 83 Sixers. Jordan never, I mean, he did face the 86 Celtics, but he didn't face the 84 Celtics, which was another great team. Jordan did face the Detroit Pistons. Yeah, I mean, the competition in the West wasn't too much for the Lakers in the 80s. But that Eastern Conference Finals that they had to go through, Boston, I think they played Boston, 3 times? They played Detroit twice. So, yeah, they faced some tough competition as well. And they faced the Sixers. They had to go through the Sixers. They had to beat the Sixers a couple of times to actually win the NBA championship as well. Jordan didn't have to face that kind of tough competition. And then you said that higher peak. I mean, at the end of the day, what peak is higher than this? I mean, I don't think Jordan has a peak better than this. You said translation, right? Is that playoff?
Those are just like accolades. Like I'm talking about like peak, like
that's no,
like your
that's
production.
his peak. Yeah, that's his production. You don't see Benjamin. Open your eyes and look at the stats.
No, you're saying like, oh, this guy got 9. If 2 guys got 2 9-time All-Stars, someone can still have a higher peak. That's not peak. You're just like listing accolades.
Jordan, again.
We just have a different definition of peak.
Open your eyes. This is his peak. 28 points per game, 15 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 55% shooting from the field, 3.5 blocks per game. Over 700 games played in a 10-game span. Jordan's peak that you're talking about is within his first 9 years. Jordan's first 9 years is not better than this. He doesn't have a better peak.
Based on what? He played better. He scored at a higher rate. He led in more statistical categories. He translated better in the playoffs.
What more statistical categories he led in?
Assists, steals, points. That's 3 of the 5 major statistical categories. So we checked off the buck for MJ. You mentioned competition before. I actually agree with you when you talk about Kareem played great competition in the 80s. But notice you said the 80s. That's not his peak. That was when Magic Johnson was the best player on the team. Magic Johnson ran the show. Michael Jordan was never the second best player on the team.
Magic Johnson.
You notice the difference?
Magic Johnson was not the best player on the Lakers from 1980 to 1985. That was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
For most of the 80s.
Let's go to the 70s. Let's go to the 70s where the NBA had the most parity and was the toughest league ever. He had to face Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West. He had to face Willis Reed and Walt Frazier. He had to face John Havlicek and Dave Cowens. He had to face Wes Unseld and the Washington Bullets. He also had to face other teams that were in that era. That era was also difficult and tough. You're talking about the Blazers. The Blazers within themselves had a great team when we're talking about Bill Walton. So there was also some great competition in the 70s. That's why we were talking about his career. And again, if you're saying that the 3 major statistical categories, you want to avoid field goal percentage, which we obviously have here as a part of the category, he shoots better than Michael Jordan as well, and you just want to count what?
He's a center. We know that.
I know. Okay, that's fine. But you didn't do that when you wanted to bring up steals. When Jordan's the guard, and Jordan doesn't.
If we go to the playoffs and look at their efficiency, they're going to be the same, but MJ's doing it on higher volume, so he's not going to win that.
Jordan, he averages a double-double. Jordan doesn't. He averages 30, 16, and 3. That's better than Jordan's 33.
By the way, that's in the faster. By the way, that's in a faster pace era. In the 70s, where half of the league's best talent was in the ABA. Like Kareem objectively played the worst competition out of anyone. The 70s was by far the weakest.
No, the 90s was the weakest, which was a part of Jordan's career because of the expansion era. They added players to the league that were not even
expansion is infinite. It's exponentially better than half of the league's best player being in another league called the ABA. It's exponentially better.
No, it's not.
And there was expansion all throughout Kareem's career, so that argument doesn't even work.
No, it does work because, like you said, there were other players in other leagues that you can add to the league that were great players that was not available in the 90s. When you're adding,
they were in the ABA during like the first 5 years of his career.
Again, you're adding players that were great and were supposed to be professional athletes to the league while you were not doing that.
No, they
in the
weren't.
90s.
They were in the ABA. That's what I'm saying. Then they got added later on.
Was the ABA a professional league?
Yeah, so the best players in the league aren't even all in the NBA. That's bad.
Again, I'm trying to give you an understanding. This is why I was hoping you was going to show up today, because I like this. I'm telling you, the ABA was a professional league. You agree they were equal to the NBA because half of the players that were supposed to be great at that time were also in the ABA. That didn't exist in the 90s. The players that they were attaching to the league in the 90s were not professional players. They were not good enough to be professional basketball players.
Wait, you think that actually helps your argument?
No, I guess it does, because it makes it weaker, because you're talking about... Wait. You got to let me speak.
Go ahead, finish.
You got to let me speak. You got to let me speak. You're saying that the league was weak then because there wasn't enough good players, because half of them were in the other league. I'm telling you, it's the same factor for the 90s, but worse, because they were adding bad players to the league. At least the NBA still had a bunch of good NBA teams. There were no good NBA teams in the 90s. So there was weaker competition. Now, Michael Jordan's peak isn't in the 90s. It's only his first 4 seasons of the 90s, which is 90 to 93. But that was a part of the expansion era. That was a part of the league that lost great players and to teams that now have to sit around here and just add players to their team, and you had bad teams all over the league. That's what the NBA was. That's why the pace slowed down, because the skill level got worse. You can't blame the 70s for a high-paced game. They played the game of basketball correctly. They moved the basketball and got a shot off. They didn't sit around here and dribble and post up and dribble and post up and post up and dribble. They moved the ball and played basketball. You can't hold that against them. That was good basketball. 90s basketball was bad basketball. Slow-paced basketball is bad basketball.
Even though it was more efficient than the 70s. So, but again, to rebut what you were saying, I don't know how you think just because there's more professional players, that means it's a better league. First of all, that's not even a good argument. You're just saying, oh, you.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. This is what you do. I did not say that. I said that they were able to grab real athletes that were able to play in the NBA during the 70s. You were not able to do that in the 90s. That's why they started grabbing players from high school and foreign players.
You realize there are players in high school and college that are already better than NBA players, right? Or just as good. That doesn't make the competition weaker.
Yes, it was weaker. It was weaker. Kobe was weaker. Kobe was weak competition. He wasn't good competition. Kobe was weak competition. Kevin Garnett coming into high school was weak competition. They were not great. These
guys made all-star teams in like their second or third year. How is that weak competition?
Making the all-star team has nothing to do with being competition-wise. All that has to do with you being voted in. In Minnesota, you can easily.
You just said it's weak competition, but you're one of the top 30 players in the league. That doesn't make any sense.
No, you're not. Being an all-star doesn't make you a top 30 player in the league.
Generally, it does.
No, it doesn't.
So you don't think all-stars are generally the top 30 players in the league at any given season?
Kobe was not a top 30.
I didn't say Kobe. I said all-star generally.
I brought up Kobe. I'm telling you, said Kobe was dominant in 90s. KG.
You can't even answer the question.
I didn't answer the question. KG was not a top 30 player in 1998.
What does that have anything to do with half of the league's
That's the weak competition I'm talking about. So think about that. You have an all-star that's not really a top 30 player in the NBA. That's how weak it is now.
Class. This is a terrible argument.
You can do that in every draft. You having a terrible argument. I'm breaking it down. I'm exposing it. That's
you
what
don't
I
even
do
know
best.
anything about formal logic. Not a single thing.
You have no logic. Your logic is based on whatever you think sounds smart at the moment.
Okay, so it's really simple. The best people in the world went to the NBA. Mm-hmm. You are automatically playing against the best players in the world. That is the optimal place you go. Mm-hmm. In Kareem's era, some of them were in the NBA, some of them were in the ABA. Meaning, in first 5 years of his career, he literally wasn't playing against the best players. Some of them were in a completely different league. With MJ, he was by virtue, it was automatically playing against the best players in the league. It's not even close.
No, it wasn't. Because when they were adding players to the league, it was weakening the league. Because they were not adding
the best players. They're not
adding. Wait, Benjamin, I let you go with your bullshit. Let me finish. In the 70s, when they were adding players, they were good players. Whether they went to the ABA or the NBA, they were good players. When the league expanded in the 90s, they were not adding good players. They were adding
again, finish that. Because they weren't good players. Because like what? You said so? Or like I
don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Sit your ass down.
Bruh, you have to let people speak, my friend. Especially me. It's my fucking show. I am telling you that the NBA was weaker by adding players who were not even good enough to be in the league. They didn't go get players that were great. They didn't add a Dr. J. They didn't add a George McGinnis. They didn't add none of these players, a Spencer Haywood. They didn't add none of these guys to the league in the 90s. They were adding guys who were not good enough to even be in the NBA prior. The guys that were being added in the 70s were good players. They could either play in the NBA or the ABA. They had a choice. The guys that you sit here talking about don't have a choice. They had to add players like Dwayne, whatever, the Vancouver Grizzlies was adding players on. Just adding players to the league that were not eligible to really be good stars. That's why they went and got high school players. Let me bring up Sturdy because I need some intelligence to be brought up here because you guys come up with a lot of bullshit. This is why I got to put you guys in the fucking dugout. You guys don't know how to talk the game of basketball. You just want to argue with me and you don't know nothing about the game of basketball.
Let's discuss. I ain't discussing shit with no goddamn kid. Motherfucker, let me tell you something. Who give a fuck? Sit your ass down.
What up, Sturdy? Thank you for joining me, brother. I appreciate you. Are you available, Sturdy?
Salute everybody. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, what's good, brother? Go ahead and plug in your show, and what you got for me for today's topic?
Uh, it's your boy Sturdy here, helping turn y'all's shaky taste and become more sturdy. Ben, is that me with the echo? Or is that with you?
Nah, you always say that. That's you. Are you using a phone or a laptop?
Just a phone.
All right, so you shouldn't have your YouTube up. You should. I don't. Let me mute myself.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's you. So, in regards to what I just heard, I think Ben typically, just like Anthony Edwards or many basketball player people in the discourse, speak in ignorance. Because if you did know about Kareem's competition, you will understand like no one and compared direct contrast to Michael Jordan, he played more Hall of Famers at his position during his prime and peak. He played more MVP winners, RBA, yada yada yada, all defensive players, and so on and so on and so on. So just awards in terms of competition at his position during his prime and peak in comparison to Michael Jordan. Like Ajani just what happened? Anyway, like Johnny just mentioned that Johnny just mentioned that he played greater teams in the '80s, and also the fact that a lot of people don't know clearly Ben that Green played nearly at his position alone. I think over 12 different Hall of Famers at the center position alone throughout his prime, including guys like Willis Reed, Dave Cowens, Bill Walton, prime peak, Bill Walton, so on, so on, so on. Moses Malone, Hakeem. I apologize, and so on, so on, so on. But nevertheless, yeah. But if you want to listen to guys like Ben and remain ignorant, you can just be like, yeah, Kareem didn't play no competition. But that's not true. But nevertheless, the point is not about diminishing one player to elevate another player at all, because if you can't explain the conditions to which a player played in, nor how great he was in those conditions, don't talk about the player. It's that simple. But in Kareem's circumstance, the reason why it's interesting to me, I find it fascinating how the fact that people just don't see the obvious of the propaganda and the reasons why they needed to elevate Jordan the way they did at that time. Like there's different at that time, the NBA of the '90s, they were capitalizing on the sneaker boom and the television boom. So you needed a face, you needed more gimmicks, you need more epithets to rise to elevate the game to more levels of exposure to not only generate more national media coverage, but also international coverage. That is why Jordan was labeled as the GOAT. No more, no less. Take it for what it was. It was just because they labeled him as that at 1993, calling the best player ever at 1989. Like most propaganda, you put in people's faces enough, they'll just believe it blindly. But objectively, at the time, at least when they gave Jordan the title, he wasn't the GOAT. He was an all-time great player, of course. He was the greatest player of his era, of course. But at the time they gave him that epithet of GOAT, he wasn't that. But it's not even about Jordan. There's so many fans that can talk about Jordan. It's about Kareem tonight. And the fact is, the propaganda got so out of hand. Hey, John, I don't know if you're familiar, right? But there was a survey not too long ago of millions of people voted upon this, of who's the greatest college player of all time. Do you know who won that poll?
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. That's how crazy the propaganda got to a level, to the point where people just see the name Michael Jordan and automatically assume he's the greatest in everything he touched. When even objectively in that poll, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is by far the greatest basketball college player to ever play the game.
By
He's
far.
the greatest high school. He's the greatest high school player. Yes, B. Lee. He's the greatest high school player in the history of the game. He is also has a strong case of being the greatest NBA player of all time. So, because of the surplus of his resume, the only thing that Kareem didn't do was compete in the international games and Olympics, and that's due to protests. That's the only thing he doesn't have. So the point is, if you're gonna just have consistent criteria, be honest, and most importantly, don't be lazy and just do your research.
He doesn't have a All-Star MVP as well. That's one thing I noticed about him. He didn't care about. Even though he went to 19 All-Star games, he never won an All-Star MVP. That's crazy. That's another thing. Yeah, but I mean, we all know the All-Star MVP is not something that that holds you against the GOAT status, but it's still something that's odd that like you said, he just didn't really care about those type of things. He really didn't.
But I just want to leave a little bit off the table because I know Ben is as a natural contrarian, empty contrarian at that. He like to talk from both sides of his neck, but he never starts off nor ends his statements and arguments with substance. So I'm trying to help him out. I'm gonna help him be a little more sturdy. Ben, when you come back up here, can you please tell the people what is Kareem's peak? Who was his competition during that peak? And how did he perform in the playoffs during that peak? Then opposed to just using vague statements like, oh, because the ABA because he didn't face because half the talent of like 5 years, which wasn't his first 5 years in the league, but whatever. 5 years of the elite talent in the NBA was out of the NBA. But even then, when you do your research, surveys from the players, coaches, GMs, Kareem was regarded as the best player regardless of league. Period. And even that ABA logic, which is just a mainstream title, a lot of people don't know majority of the elite players that played in the ABA also played their prime in the NBA as well. Rick Barry, George Gervin, Moses Malone, Dr. J. Some of the greatest ABA players still played great basketball in the NBA. So it's kind of a mute point. And last thing I want to land with this. It is extremely, how do I put it? Low IQ, lazy, mentally inept for people to hold conditions and situations the players played in against them. No player can control who they play against. No player can control who they get drafted, what team they get drafted to. But what they can control is what we always in any sport measure any player by is how great and how dominant they were in that situation. But I just respect all errors.
Nah, facts. No, I agree with you. That's exactly what we do here in GOAT James Kingdom. We don't. You see how to make Jordan better than Kareem, he had to knock Kareem's era. These are the main people who get mad when we knock the 90s, when we know the 90s was really the worst era in NBA history. It was truly the worst era when we're talking about team-wise talent. It was the worst era, man. The 70s is an underrated era because the players were trying to get a name for themselves, and the owners used the media against the players. We shouldn't sit here and make it seem like the players wasn't great. There was a bunch of great players in the 70s, like you said, even with the ABA, and there was great teams. That's what we gotta forget the players. There were great teams in the 70s. A lot of great teams in the 70s. Not like the 90s.
But no, here's the thing, Johnny, and I don't disrespect any era. I don't care if it's the 90s, 60s, 2000s, 2010s. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, every era has their positives and negatives. So it becomes kind of redundant, and it's like this chaotic carousel of just critiquing instead of just appreciating greatness that's displayed in each era. That should be more so focused than opposed to just down. No, because
they can't.
Like, you follow football.
Can't have that conversation.
No, but that's the problem with basketball discourse. Because even you follow this football, you don't hear great players old or new bashing the errors in football. You will never hear Derrick Henry say, "Oh, Barry Sanders wasn't like that." You will never hear Patrick Mahomes say, "Oh, Joe Montana wasn't like that." No, what they do, they keep it. Them dudes were bad and they were great in that era, and we're bad and great in this era. For some reason, basketball discourse, it can't be the same thing. Why can't it be the 90s was like this? Is they highs, is they lows, but these dudes are still great. Same thing for the 2020s, same thing for the 2000s, same thing for the 60s. Every era has their highs and lows. So I don't want to, me personally, I don't want to just say any era was just trash, but there's no trash here.
No, I would agree with you, but again, they're going to have that conversation. So I got a full panel in the back. I'm going to let you go, Sturdy. If you can hold on, I'll bring everybody up shortly. But I got to have my one-on-ones. I got to have my one-on-ones. Y'all know who that is. That is Sturdy. Plug in your show again, brother, please, before I let you go.
Yeah, y'all find me on like honestly a bunch of platforms, but the main place you can't find me on a consistent basis on the crossover on here on FYF platform. We do it every Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern time. Y'all know what we do.
Yes, indeed, y'all. Y'all know that's Ace 30. You could always find them all over the place. I'm gonna go ahead.
Done.
What
My
happened?
fault,
What?
sorry. Because Lamont like a cat, but like technically Lamont, it was actually Magic Johnson who had the weakest Western Conference competition in history. But whatever, we ain't gotta go back.
Yeah, because Kareem was in the Western Conference well before Magic Johnson joined the team, and they did face some good teams in that Western Conference during the 70s. As we all know, they faced Seattle and lost to Seattle in 1979, and they also lost in 77 and 78. But they played some great teams. Let me bring in Ishmael, which is a GOAT James Kingdom member. Y'all, please be patient. I know I got a background full of folks. Thank you for joining me, Ishmael. What you got for me, brother?
Yeah, I think some of it is just funny. A lot of people really like to talk in circles, and so it's just the consistency for me that now are we starting to open the conversation that LeBron is better than Jordan because his competition was better. So it's just stuff like that, or trying to make claim that because Kobe Bryant, I mean, just he really tried to argue that like Kobe Bryant wasn't even starting in '97, or like I don't was he even starting in
Bruh.
'98? Like that's
If
just
I
crazy.
bring up the 2016 Hawks having 4 All-Stars on it, he's not gonna
Yeah,
call those four.
it's
He's not
gonna
gonna
change.
say those 4 players are top 30 in the league. And like he said,
Right.
most players are. Most of them. They stick, especially him. He's good at this.
Talking
He leaves.
circles.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He leaves himself where he can flip flop and say, "Well, no, I didn't." And the conversation goes nowhere. He's
Yeah.
trying to say that Kareem's peak was weak. So even though his stats and his accolades are better than Jordan, it doesn't really make, because Jordan was playing in tough competition. Jordan was playing in a lower. Like, they have to find all these little tidbits. They can't talk about how great Jordan is without saying somebody else is just not good enough. That's how they make Jordan great, by saying somebody's not good.
Yeah.
How's great? How Jordan's great? Scottie Pippen sucks.
Yeah, he got to carry them and all that other stuff. I mean, yeah, and I think that it's just I always told that like Kareem, and I'm not gonna say like I know Kareem's career in terms of like I know he played against Wilt and stuff because I wasn't there to watch it and whatnot, but I just know from what people told me, Kareem was a conscientious objector. And when he turned Muslim and changed his name, and he was speaking out in terms of like being like an activist as an athlete, people they didn't take that too lightly. So I'm not saying that he was Kyrie Irving, but I just use that as an example. Like Kyrie is a bit on the rebellious side, and I favor that. Like he is his own man that makes his own decisions, and he supports what he believes in. And so when you have that, then the media is not going to be on your side, because especially at that time, most Americans didn't support it. So they didn't see him and value him as like, from my understanding, is like he's the face of basketball, like truly the face of basketball. In terms of his accomplishments and ability to play on the court, there's no argument for it. But he just can't be known as like as the greatest of all time, or is known as like the pillar of basketball because of that at that time. And I think that that's actually shortened, that has belittled his career for what he's done for basketball. So
Yeah, he doesn't have the superstar. He doesn't have that superstar power, because even
yeah,
back then,
right.
because even beyond the media, he wasn't too fond with the players as well, right? Because he, not that they didn't like him, or he just was just different. He wasn't interested in going. Yeah, he wasn't interested in going to nightclubs. Exactly. But
there's a lot of players I think today are getting more respect for that, which is a good thing. Like, you got Kawhi Leonard, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Some of these guys are more family men. They're not known as, they're too loud and stuff with their careers. And so I think I think it's also a tale that's learned from people like Tim Duncan, who was pretty quiet about his career. He wasn't someone to show off, and whatever their personalities are, that's cool. But I'm just saying, like, I think that at this time we should learn to be more appreciative of his abilities and his accomplishments. So
yeah. And again, we have to understand the 70s and understand the reputation of the NBA at that time. Remember, in America, there was the war on crime. right? They were going after hippies, and marijuana was the devil's stick and all this other stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, that era was where corporate America was like, we're cracking down on anybody who's radical, revolutionary, different. You had to follow status quo. You see what I'm saying? And like you said, he went the Muslim route, and then he did it kind of like Ali did it, right? Because Ali waited till he was the champion, and then went out there and told everybody, you got to call me Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali instead of
right?
Cassius Clay.
Exactly. Kareem did the same thing. He was Lew Alcindor as a champion in 1972, and after that came into the league the next year as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So here it is. Here is the league champion, the league MVP, and we have to call him Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So it's actually, instead of even talking to Kareem, they would avoid talking to him because you didn't want him to sound smart because he wasn't stupid. Remember, he went to UCLA. He was 4 years in college, graduated.
Yeah, he was an
Very
intellectual,
astute man.
right?
Exactly. So you're not going to give him the mic. You're not going to let him speak. You're going to let the media speak about him and keep him in check, which will keep other players in check because, again, we're battling players in legal fees and all this other stuff is racking up on us. So we can't have the best player being able to speak up and talk loud, so we got to keep him in check, and that's what he did. And because he didn't care what people thought, he never thought to defend himself. He never thought to put himself out into the media. That's why I think when he did the Airplane movie, people were shocked that he was like, "Oh my God, Kareem did the Airplane movie," and then he
What
was kind of.
movie?
You never seen the movie Airplane?
I think I heard of it, but no, I ain't never seen that.
Oh my!
I mean, I did see. I know he was in movies. Well,
yeah, no, that was okay. All right, so check this out. There's a movie called Airplane. It's a comedy movie. It's from the 70s. It's late 70s.
Is it that white guy with white hair and shit?
Yes, Neil. The guy who played in Naked Gun. The guy who played Naked Gun is in it.
He played a movie with O.J. Simpson. Yeah, okay, I know about that. Yeah, I know about something.
That's got to be like that's got to be the only people in the world that did a movie with O.J. Simpson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
But the movie's called Airplane. You'll like it. It's still a funny movie to this day. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played in that movie, and it was a little parody about him being Kareem in the movie and everything. And he was known for being just this militant guy, really standoffish. So they just talked about him badly, and the NBA wanted that because they wanted to check the players. They wanted to let the players, we're bigger than you, just like the NFL did to the players a few years back. We're bigger than you. You're not going to make a name for yourself on our platform. That's not going to happen. And they changed that. After a while, they said, okay, we're going to let our players be our platform. But in the 70s, they were like, nah, we're not doing that. It took David Stern to really make the NBA do that, to say we're going to make the players the actual guys. So, that's really the truth, bro. You got any last words so I can bring up Peter? Because Peter's been busy.
I'll just hang back, if I got more to say and whatnot. So I'll see. But thank you, Ajani. It's a good show.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the support. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. Let Peter up, and then I'll let the panel up all at once. What you got for me, Peter? Thank you for joining me, brother. Thank you again. What's good? What you got for me today?
Hey, what they do, bro?
Nothing much,
yeah,
man. What they
man.
do?
Man, not much, man. Cooling it. So, just sit back, listen to the arguments, man. Enjoying the show. And what the last brother was saying, right before you mentioned Tim Duncan, that was who came to mind. As far as like being a more quiet type of person, you're not gonna get the acclaim as much as a guy who got the flash. So
that's a good one. That's a good one. Yes, Kareem and Tim Duncan are very similar.
And Tim Duncan, because to me, when people say like Kobe better than Tim, I can't put him over Tim, bro. You feel me?
I can't neither. No, I can't neither. But a lot of people, a lot of people been hating on Duncan because there's some people who praise Duncan, but. Yeah, you're right. The way he carried himself, not being too much of a eccentric character, didn't attract people to him as a person. Other than his basketball game was boring. And Kareem's basketball game was boring too. That hook shot was boring. As great as it was,
something to do with
boring. Yeah, it does. It does. Go ahead, continue.
What I'm saying, and that's what what's the name has said. What's buddy name Herm? He was saying that. That's a factor in it, as to where people hold Jordan in a high regard. It's a factor in it, and that's why I always say with Jordan, he just checked every box. As you had mentioned before, 60s and 70s, some of that stuff you just wasn't even allowed to do. Like, if you was to be sticking your tongue out, remember when Jordan first came, you had a choker. You know what I'm saying? He was coming with that little, that little swag or whatever. Like back then, they called that hot dogging.
They banned his sneaker. Remember, they banned his sneaker because it didn't fit. It didn't fit with the NBA rules. Uniform,
Right.
yeah.
They was more regimented. So yeah, part of his who Jordan is the time that he came along. I don't think anybody who has any knowledge of basketball of that era wouldn't say that. Cause I know Herm speaks to that all the while. So you can't leave that fact out. It's in there. You feel me? But when you take that away and you just looking at things straight on, I don't like to do the nitpicking errors like homeboy had said earlier, because that gets so convoluted. How do you measure which, you know what I'm saying? It just gets too mixy.
I feel you. Yeah,
You feel me?
No, it does, because again, it's hard to measure competition, especially if we're gonna use what we're gonna use. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you see what I'm saying?
How do you really measure that?
Yeah.
You know, but now, go ahead.
I'm listening, brother. Go ahead.
No, I was finna say, I think what, for me, in my mind, separates Jordan from Kareem is relative to the help that he had, right? Jordan was able to win on the ultimate level as a clear-cut best player. For me, that's the thing that I always put above anything else. You feel me? And then the accolades and the stats and everything else come after that. Winning as your team's best player, to me, that's the gold standard. And Jordan was able to do that, and each time he was indisputably the best player. You could make the argument that with what's his name, Oscar and Magic, you could make the argument that those are two top 10 players. A lot of people got both them guys in their top 10. You feel me? And I'm not disparaging Pippen, but if we're comparing him to an Oscar or Magic, you feel me, as a teammate, so we could objectively say Jordan had less help when it came to winning them championships than Kareem did. Would that be fair?
Because for me, help is also predicated on your comp. So the fact that Jordan never went up against a team like the '83 Sixers, you see what I'm saying? Never went up against a team like the '80s Boston teams when he was winning his championships. Like that, those are the different factors. And even in the '70s, the parity of the '70s, the like again, to play in the '70s and still be great in the '70s was hard as a player with all the things that were going on. So there's a lot of factors. But you guys, again, that's where the championships fall in at, right? Because when we're talking about championships, we're gonna shout out the Blue Boat man, and he's gonna give you that. You're gonna give me your top 5, Peter, because everybody wants to know your top 5. But when we're talking about being a
top
winner,
5 NBA players.
Yeah, top 5, but not right now. Give me a second, because I want to show you this. Because at the end of the day, when we're really talking about winner, Kareem was winning well before he entered the league. He was always been a winner.
These are all the rings that I got. Grade school, high school, UCLA, and then all the rest of them are from events in professional life.
So this is the thing that, you know, that players say that they sweat for, that they hope to get and do anything to get, and you got a whole stick full of them.
Yeah, well, they accumulate, I guess.
or they just don't come at all.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
Bruh, Peter, you see that's like a 3.5, 4 foot stick full of rings, bro. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, man, but
that man, and he was doing it in high school. He was doing it in college, and again, he won in his second year when he entered the league. Second year, who the hell knew what Milwaukee was? He beat a great team in the Lakers, which had Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Wilt Chamberlain, and Gail Goodrich, right? Then he beat the Knicks. The Knicks, you know, the Knicks squad was a great team. He beat them. So he didn't. It's not like it's not like he just. Like, he didn't play nobody. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, now, I get you, because that's what I used to hold against him, too. The fact that he had Magic Johnson for all those years. Which
I don't hold it against him, though. I'm just, you feel me? Because, look.
No, I got what you're saying, because Jordan got 6 championships as a leader, right? We know that all 6 championships, Kareem wasn't the quote-unquote leader, even though he was the captain. The last 2 championships, we can say Kareem wasn't the best player on the team. We can say that. Right now, from '85 before that, for 4 championships and I think the 7 finals, he was the man. He was the man.
Right.
But After that, it was Magic. He had the luxury of having a Magic. He had the luxury of being a Laker. I agree with you. All of that, I agree with you. But that's what I held against him. And I also held against him the ABA because I felt like if Dr. J and him were in the league together, that he wouldn't have 6 MVPs. So I always thought that Kareem, in my mind, really has 4 championships, 4 MVPs. And that's why I always had him. That's why I always had him behind Wilt and behind Bill Russell. But that was my biases. I could admit to that. That's just me being biased. Like if I look at his resume as is and what it was, he's the 3rd greatest player to ever play the game, or the 2nd greatest player to play the game. And LeBron just recently passed him. That's
what most people got him though. Like even the Jordanites, most of them gonna mention Kareem. Like I'd say he's consensus top 3. And I'm talking about like even you'd be surprised, Ajani, even with young people. Young people know who Kareem is, bro.
Yeah. So what's your top 5? Give us your top 5. Is Kareem in your top 5?
Yes. Most.
Okay, so give us your top 5. Start with Jordan, and after that, go ahead. You hear that, Peter? Oh, don't duck out now that you got to tell us your top 5.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. What's your top 5?
Yeah. I was trying to go to this list on my phone. So, all right, top of my head, MJ. Did I have Kareem? I think I got Kareem 2nd, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got Kareem 2nd because I had it written down. And I was thinking about it, right? Who did I have 3rd? I know I got Duncan at 5.
Okay.
Who did I have at 3? Probably Magic. Damn, dog. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was drinking some ganja tea too, bro. So,
you at least you doing better than Michael was doing, Michelle, whatever he was doing when he showed up. Cause that dude sounded like he was drinking and on a couple of perks.
Yeah, he was cooked. But all right. So I got Jay, Kareem. I got Duncan at 5. So it's basically who I got at 3 and 4. I want to put Hakeem in there so bad because damn, dog. I'm gonna go Hakeem at 4, bro.
Hakeem?
And then so and then 3.
So you don't have LeBron James in your top 5 greatest players of all time.
Nah, I got Bron like round probably like 10. I got Bron like round 10, 11.
Bro, I don't even think Benjamin is that bad, bro. You said 10 and 11? LeBron?
Yeah, I got him about 10, bro.
Wow. I don't even
you can name 10 players ahead of LeBron James. That is
it'd be
hilarious.
9. If I got him at 10, it would be 9 players.
That's insane,
I stopped listening after you said Magic was 3rd. I stopped listening.
Yeah, for real. I swear to God, me too, bro. That's what.
How can Magic and Kareem be in the top 5? That don't make no sense.
Remember, I'm going off the top 2, bro. I said I had to wrote
down. I know.
Yeah,
but next week you gotta come better. You gotta bring us the real list.
I don't got no issue with that 5 though. What's wrong with Magic and Kareem in the top 5? What's wrong with that?
Have Magic as the 3rd greatest player ever. You're insane,
bro.
So you have Magic over Wilt.
My top criteria would be what? Go ahead. Yeah, for me, remember, I don't remember if Ajani remembers speaking to me, right? Remember when you were talking about Wilt that night, Ajani, and I came in talking about what happened in I think what that was 67 when Willis Reed only played 5 minutes and he only, you know what I'm saying? But he kind of choked.
I remember that.
Right. I look at that type.
But
listen, I don't want to get hung up on
terms.
Hold on, bro. Listen, hear what I'm saying though. Look, bro. You asked me for my criteria. I'm trying to give
let him
to
answer.
you.
Let him answer. Go ahead.
Look, what you value might not be what I value. You feel me? So like a lot of people love James Harden and he averaged 30. I don't really care about that. To me, that stuff matters. But in the tier of like what I value, that shit like in the middle of the pyramid. You hear me? Like the number one thing I value, like I told Ajani about 10 minutes ago, is winning as your team's indisputable player. That's the gold standard. All that average, okay, that's nice, bro. What did you do when the chips was on the table, bro?
So wait, is Kobe in front of LeBron?
Yeah, he is. I got Kobe in front
How?
of LeBron.
Definitely don't
How?
take you serious.
How?
Just want to get criteria.
How?
Hold on.
But y'all can't get mad.
Y'all want me to answer the question? Hold on. I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you
yeah,
why.
yeah. Because you said,
And
you know,
look,
explain how. Because
and
Kobe did
look.
not lead. Kobe did not lead his team to
Hold
championships
on.
more than LeBron
Yeah.
did.
Yes, well, probably equal. I'd say equal. Look,
Kobe led 2 teams to championships. That's it.
Listen.
The contradiction.
He was
is
the
amazing.
spearhead. Hold on, let me get it out. He was the spearhead of his own three-peat, right? In that three-peat, he won a back-to-back as his team's best player, right? And that first year, of course, they lost to Boston in 08. So for me, him as a undisputed one, and then when you add that to what he did with Shaq, which to me, 2 of them years is a 1A, 1B situation, in my opinion. You feel me? So, what you mean? 02, when Kobe was averaging 30-something.
Okay. So what? Wait. No. So what 2 years was LeBron James 1A, 1B?
Well, he F Wade over in 11, right? I don't know if I think he
No, we're not
sabotaged
talking about
shit.
that. We're not talking about him losing. We're talking about the 4 championships. Which one of the 4 championships LeBron James was a 1A or 1B?
You could say 2020 if he.
That's really the only one you could argue. Everything else, he was clearly the best player.
You can't even argue that one.
Nah,
you can't even argue that one.
I think his 80's defensive impact, that's the only argument. But I think LeBron was a little better.
80 didn't lead the league in nothing. LeBron led the league in assists.
He said the finals. They talking about the final series.
No. We're talking about being the best player.
Yeah, we talking about
Anthony Davis is not a Anthony Davis is not a 1B. Anthony Davis is not a 1B or 1A. Anthony Davis is not a 1B or 1A. Are we putting Anthony Davis on the level of a Kobe Bryant and a Shaquille O'Neal?
At his peak, not like career.
Yeah, he got
No. We're talking about 2020. We're talking about 2020 Anthony Davis. Are you guys putting 2020 Anthony Davis on the level of a Kobe Bryant and a Shaquille O'Neal?
You being disrespectful.
No, we're talking about 2020 AD and 2020 LeBron. That's what I mean. Not like
No. Again.
That wasn't even a question. That's a goal.
AD is not a 1B.
On that 2020 Lakers team?
Yes,
no, he's not.
AD led the Lakers in every
he's just the second best player.
Like he was
he's only the second best player.
Anthony Davis.
He did everything that year.
Anthony Davis only led in the regular season. When it came to playoff time, LeBron James was the clear.
He led throughout the playoffs.
They switched up, but LeBron did play better in the finals.
Who cares who switched up? Who was the best player in the playoffs? LeBron James.
It was Anthony Davis.
But you got to understand, like, that's contextual.
I don't got to understand nothing, but who was the best player?
So what about AD leading him in every single category but assists? Does that not count?
In every single category, LeBron had.
That doesn't make him a 1A, 1B player.
Yes, you do.
If he's scoring as much on the same or better efficiency and is by far the best defender.
Score the same as much as better efficiency.
Hold on there.
He did. He led them in scoring that year.
We're talking about the playoffs. This is the championship. We're not talking about.
I'm talking about both.
Hold on, y'all.
But who you facing in the finals? Who you facing?
I already said LeBron. I said I would give it to LeBron in the finals.
Well, we're talking about that guy's criteria, so you're defending his criteria, and so we're trying.
Hold on. See, this is why I don't like bringing up a bunch of motherfuckers at once, because y'all act like y'all can't speak and talk like human beings when there's a bunch of motherfuckers up. Y'all got to take y'all time to speak. So let's let Herman say what Herman got to say, because Herman swear he about to do some exposure, but all he going to do is get up exposed by the exposure, because there's no way y'all going to sit here and tell me Anthony Davis is on the level. Anthony Davis is not taking the Lakers to a championship. What y'all are telling me is, if Shaq's not on that Laker team, Kobe still makes them a championship contending team. That is the argument. Not this bullshit. Yeah, no, that's the argument. Because if that's the case, Kobe has nothing to do with the three-peat.
The discredit what AD did in 2020. You full of shit.
No, I'm not full of shit, because you guys don't argue for the man. The man is saying Kobe Bryant led the Lakers as a 1A or 1B to 4 NBA championships. Anthony Davis is not doing that. That's the point. Anthony Davis was not making the playoffs. What are y'all talking about? Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant. Anthony Davis is nowhere near Kobe Bryant or Dwayne Wade. Why are y'all praising these people? Is Scottie Pippen a 1B player because he was leading the Bulls in a lot of categories besides points? Y'all not going to say that shit? So again, I'm going to ask y'all a simple question. Is Anthony Davis in 2020 on the level of Kobe Bryant in 2001 and 2002?
No.
Yes.
What, man?
Because that's not Kobe's peak. That's why I said that. I don't think 2002 is his peak. It's not his peak. Now, if you're talking about mid 2000s Kobe, yeah. Kobe
can I
just
say
developed.
something? Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead,
'Cause
Sturdy. Go ahead.
I already knew this. I already knew this, but I wanted to verify it again. Of course, in the playoffs, no, Anthony Davis did not lead in majority of the categories for the Lakers in the playoffs. Yes, he
I
led
said
in
the regular
points.
season.
Oh no, you said both. But if you want
No,
to get a take,
I said the regular season.
Oh, you definitely
about
said
the
both,
rings,
Benjamin.
bro.
When I said both, I'm saying I'm including both in terms of production. What's the guy? He said, "Oh, only the playoffs or finals matter."
He said
I'm not gonna lie about the stat.
You talking about leading the?
I know LeBron even led in rebounds. I remember the stats. I said specifically LeBron's a little better in the finals. I said in that regular season, I actually thought AD was better.
He was 100% better, bro. Like his
okay,
stats
so we're
was
gonna
better.
okay.
Yeah, in one series, I know. Basketball's more than one series. That's all I'm saying.
It's okay, bro. He already kind of backed off his square of what he lied about again, but there's no point.
I never lied.
But anyway, the point is this, right? I'm already here, so I might as well say it. LeBron led in. I was want Lakers for the 2020 playoffs. AD led in points. AD led in blocks. Rondo led in steals. LeBron led in assists, of course. LeBron led in rebounds and efficiency. This is what Ben did mention for the playoffs.
They're about tied in the playoffs. They're about tied. I know the stats. Like you're not correcting me. I know the stats.
Oh, but even if you know it, so you blatantly lied then. Not ignorantly lied.
Lied about what? I said in the regular season, AD led in every statistical category but assists. That's not a lie.
But let's get back to the topic a bit. What was Kareem's prime? What was Kareem's peak?
Honestly, I got to go back on Kareem's years, just because I haven't really.
So you don't know. So you don't know.
No, I know. I've done like analysis on Kareem, LeBron, and all that stuff.
So
why can't you answer the question? So answer the question.
Hold on.
I gotta go back and do the research. He's not in my era.
Hold on, Ben. Let me help you out. What is Jordan's peak?
Jordan's peak, I give him 88 to 93. If I'm doing a 5-year peak.
What is Kareem's peak?
He doesn't know.
Kareem, off the top of my head, I'd probably give him 74 to 80. But that's just off my top of my head. Again, I haven't done analysis on Kareem in a minute. So.
Okay, so if you haven't done analysis on Kareem, you still came up here and so on a foggy memory, like you just admitted to, that allegedly during that span, Jordan had a higher peak, more production, more efficient in both the playoffs and regular season in comparison to Kareem.
Thank you.
Yeah, he had better production. I don't know why you added all those things. In the playoffs, yeah, they had the same.
No, that's what you said. That's what you said. That's literally what you said.
You got to go point by point. So go point at a time.
Can I point this out real quick, Benjamin?
Oh, I got to talk slower. Okay, talk slower.
Realize Kareem
No, don't talk slower because again, he's still leading in more categories. So doesn't really help you out.
Realize Kareem averaged a double-double.
And even that lie again, because during that span, if we include blocks came in the game. No, because blocks came in the game because if we include that span that you said for allegedly Kareem's peak, he led in more categories: points, rebounds, blocks. What you talking about?
So 5 major statistical categories: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. MJ leads in 3,
but
Kareem leads in 2.
Continue.
It's called the 5 major statistical categories. That's the whole point. It's not 7,
bro.
I know to the lower level casual fan, there's only 5, but it's 7. But I get what you're saying.
It's more than that if you include advanced stats, but I don't think you want to go there either because
I'm talking about
PER, it's all going to favor MJ.
I'm talking about basic. I'm talking about basic box score stats. It wasn't just points, rebounds, steals, and assists. It was also field goal percentage and free throw percentage. They tracked that since the very beginning. So
MJ will still be leading.
Wrong. Again.
MJ would have 4, Kareem would have 3.
See, that's the thing. If you did your research like you allegedly did, you would understand Kareem led in more categories if you include field goals percentage as well. Even if you take field goal percentage out, it's still Kareem with blocks, rebounds, points.
You just said, okay, look, you said points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks.
In some years, it's still. Some years.
And you said points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, and free throw percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
MJ leads in points. He leads in assists. He leads in steals. He leads in field goal percentage. That's 4.
Kareem leads in 3. So
Wrong.
even if you
Once
want to go
again.
hard on that point, that's favoring MJ.
Wrong again. How's it leading field goal percentage? Not for his team, nor against Kareem. And during some of those runs, like Ajani just mentioned earlier, which I know you slickly didn't listen to, Scottie Pippen led in assists and steals from some of those runs that you were talking about during Jordan's peak.
Hey, sorry. I get what the problem is. We're talking about completely different things. I thought you were talking about Kareem and MJ compared to each other. Who's leading in that category? You're saying who's leading that team. So yeah, we just talk. So it's just a misinterpretation. We're talking about different things. You're talking about relative to the team. I'm talking about Kareem stats versus MJ. That's the difference.
Oh, okay.
You see, that's why he's leading it more. That's what I'm saying. Head to head, not what they did about teammates.
Well, let me
So
say
you're
this
saying
thing. I know it's
Jordan
a
has
Johnny
better
show,
numbers
but let
than
me tell you,
Kareem averaged a
you know,
double-double.
leading in particular stats.
If you average a double-double, that just means you're better. Like, is that your
All right,
argument?
let's let Ishmael get in. Go ahead, Ishmael. Say it again. Go ahead, please.
I've learned this though. You can't just go based off of a checklist for every player in every situation. It depends on what it is. Leading in every stat doesn't make you the better player.
I agree.
So, Kareem's, in the disparity, and he has a much larger rebound category. So it's like, objectively looking at it, it's just like, especially in the postseason, they both average around 30 points. But because Kareem averaged like 16 points, 16 rebounds in the playoffs, he's just a lot more effective as a player. And like MJ only averaged like 2 more steals. So that makes Kareem better in terms of just looking at numbers blindly like that.
If you value rebounds that much, yes, but I don't think most people, including myself, value rebounds that much.
So now you can't value rebounds when comparing assessment of center.
No, you can value rebounds. I'm just saying there's a difference in how you're going to value them. Like, there's a reason why we don't say Dennis Rodman is top 20.
So we don't value rebounds when it comes to assessing a center.
You said look at.
No, we do value rebounds.
You said look at all.
So which one is it, Ben?
You said look at all.
We value everything.
Yeah. So
okay. So
there's no
evaluating everything. Okay.
And that's why you come to the conclusion why MJ has better stats. That's why you end up with the advanced metrics of him having a higher PER.
Now we're using advanced metrics. Now we're using advanced metrics. So we're past the.
MJ doesn't have the better stats. MJ doesn't have the better stats. MJ doesn't average a double-double.
Okay, so that's the argument. Just average a double-double, you're better. So Jokic is better than LeBron, I guess.
No, because he's averaging 29 and 15, while Jordan's averaging 33 and 7.
Wait, hold on. What are we talking about? You're comparing primes, or are you comparing career?
Yes,
because Kareem doesn't average 30 for his career.
We're talking about peak. We're talking about the peaks. We're talking about Jordan's
If we're talking about peaks, MJ's at like 33. What are we saying?
That's what I just said. I just said 33 points and 7 assists or 7 rebounds are not trumping 29 points, 15 rebounds, 4.5, 5 assists. That's
it
what
literally does.
No, it doesn't.
It literally doesn't. You're bugging.
It doesn't.
Literally does. Why do you think he's higher in all those advanced metrics?
I mean,
which comes from the box score stats.
Because the advanced metrics.
By the way,
the advanced metrics. Shaq. What you mean? We're gonna use Shaq's prime? Because y'all got to use prime.
The icing on the cake is MJ's doing that playing.
The Shaq averaged 29 and 15. With 4.5 assists.
About to say
Shaq playing the slower pace era.
Around
that weak ass argument again.
Playing the slower pace era.
He averaged that around. You talking about in the finals, right?
No, we're talking about for your peak.
Playoffs.
We're not. Why y'all?
Season, what?
We're talking about regular season peak.
Shaq is a top 3 player.
Oh, okay, regular season.
Oh, Shaq has a higher peak than Kareem.
No, Shaq doesn't. Where y'all get that from, Shaq? Where y'all get this from?
Nah, I'm just going off the double-double aspect. I mean,
the double-double compared to someone who doesn't average a double-double. Now, if you want to compare Shaquille O'Neal to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, let's do this. When was Shaquille O'Neal's prime, ladies and gentlemen? Give me that.
Are we doing prime or doing peak? Because Ben keeps moving the goalposts.
I'm not moving the goalposts. It's like,
my bad. I said prime. What is Shaquille O'Neal's peak?
2003.
No, I say for 90.
His best individual or like what stretch? 3-year stretch, 1-year stretch?
The same
Oh,
criteria
now
you're
those matter.
using.
Well, I
Wait,
thought it was 5
wait. Benjamin.
What was the criteria using for Kareem?
Benjamin,
Again,
what is
that's-
the criteria you're
saying
using
10 years,
for,
right? 70, 79?
No, we're saying this is your criteria. This is not ours. You said peak. We don't use peak. You use peak. What is Shaq's peak?
Again, what do you want? 1-year peak, 3-year peak,
5-year.
Benjamin. Wait, no. I got this. Benjamin, what did you use to determine Michael Jordan's peak?
I can use a 3-year peak, a 1-year peak, or a 5-year peak. All you gotta do is tell me which one.
Benjamin. Wait, Sturdy. I got this.
Just tell me which one you want.
I'm about to kick everybody off so I can have this conversation. Let me ask this simple question so Benjamin can answer the question. Benjamin, listen closely. What did you use to determine Michael Jordan's peak?
I give a 5-year stretch.
So Michael Jordan's. What is Shaq's 5-year stretch?
I'd give him. You can do 98 to 2003.
Okay, 98. That's 6 years. So give me. Is it? You want me to begin at 99 and do 2003, or begin at 98 and end in 2002? Which one you want?
Doesn't matter.
All right, 98 to 2002. Shaquille O'Neal averaged 28 points per game. He averaged 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2.5 blocks. Not as good as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
In a much slower era, though.
90 possessions per game compared to Kareem coming to NBA with 150
possessions
per game. These arguments are just easy. These
no,
are
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No,
What you
it's
mean it
easy.
don't matter?
It's
It
actually,
doesn't.
no, it's lazy. No, it's
You saying
lazy.
mathematics don't matter?
Dude played like 20
It doesn't matter.
They think
You
it
cannot
matters. They
credit
think it
Shaq.
matters.
You cannot credit Shaq for playing in a bad era.
Per 75. That has nothing to do with the era being bad. That's not the argument.
So let's bring up a hypothetical stat. Okay.
Let me explain it to him, bro. It's just simple math. If I score 45 points on my team, right? And my team scores, let's say, 95 points, compared to somebody who scores 50 on a team that scores 120. Mine has way much more of an impact. That's not a matter of debate. You feel me? So
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Oh, boy.
Does not
It's
mean that.
literal-
You
it's
guys.
literally.
No, you guys are making things up. That has nothing to do with impact. The man averaged 28 points per game during a 5-year stretch. That's it.
But those numbers aren't all right. The numbers at Kareem isn't that some huge separation?
I mean,
Yeah,
Shaq-
Kareem averaged.
Just to further supplant
Wait,
that analogy.
wait. Let's do that. We're gonna do the same thing. Wait, we're gonna do the same thing Benjamin did for Michael Jordan and Kareem. He had more rebounds than Shaq. He had more assists than Shaq. He had more blocks than Shaq. The 5 statistical category states Kareem was better.
But that's where the pace comes in, Ajani.
The pace has nothing to do with it.
Just to supplant the argument real quick, think about this for a second, guys. Think about this for a second. MJ and Wilt both scored 30 points per game, right? They both scored 30 points per game. We know they're both efficient. Wilt needed 7 more minutes to get that same amount of points. Who's the better scorer? If you need more possessions and more minutes to get the same amount of points, how are you a better scorer? You just aren't, simply.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Your possessions aren't as worthwhile if you need that many more possessions to get the same amount of production.
The possessions is depending on style of play of the team. The more possessions you get, the better it is for you in basketball.
No, for the era though, Johnny. The entire era was
Again,
much slower.
the more possessions you get in a basketball game, the better.
Based on what? Like the efficiency was
Based
horrible in
on
the 60s.
basketball knowledge, the more possessions you gain in the game of basketball, the better it is for you.
Yeah, you talking about for individual team? No, he's saying for individual team.
Understand what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking. When we talking about team, when y'all say pace, y'all talking about the team.
No, I'm talking
So
about the era.
the pace of the 70s was what it was because they created more possessions than the 90s did. The 90s actually reduced their possessions because of lack of skill and the lack of ability to create more possessions.
The 70s had more
Yes,
than the 90s? Is that the argument?
Early 2000s.
No, the argument is Shaq and Kareem.
That's early 2000s.
No, he said 99. He said 98
Yes,
to
but
2002.
c-
The
come on,
pace
bro.
was
That's
super
mostly
slow in
early
the late 90s. What are you
2000s.
talking about? That's one of the slowest pace.
The
Like
whole
90.
What does
the
that?
late
What does this
90s,
have
the
to do with
late
the players?
90s and the early 2000s had the slowest pace in NBA
Right.
history.
The early
We know
2000s
this.
was even slower than the 90s.
The 90s, it
What
was the
does this have
beginning.
to
It
do with the
Yeah, the 90s
started.
overall,
It
yeah.
started in the 90s. It
The late
started
90s
in the
was super
90s
slow, yeah.
and carried
Right.
on to the 2000s. It started in the 90s though.
We're
The
saying it's a
the
factor,
NBA
bro. We're
pace
not
started
saying
slowing
We're
down
just
in the
saying
90s.
math. That's all we're saying. Like, look at the
right.
math.
I
Let's
understand
factor
that. Your
in.
math
That's all
is
it is.
your math
Okay,
is
so
grade school math. It has nothing to do with basketball.
can I ask a simple question? So what are the players supposed to do about the different paces and conditions of the eras?
Nothing you could do, but when you analyzing the errors, you just got to factor in. So
So let's factor in this. Wait, no.
Okay,
Let's factor in this. Let's
okay.
factor in this. Let's factor this in this. Why is Michael Jordan the only player in the 90s that was shooting at the pace of the players in the 60s?
Exactly.
I don't even know what.
Part of it because he was the best scorer. Part of it because of the system. There's multiple reasons.
Taking a shot has nothing to do with being the best scorer. Michael Jordan was shooting at the rate of players who played in the 60s. He was shooting at the rate. He was playing in the NBA that was on.
Them. You realize that, right?
Okay, listen.
Bro, the 60s had like a 44%.
He wasn't more efficient than Wilt Chamberlain, the best scorer of the 60s. So again, why was Michael Jordan's shot rate at the rate of players who played in that era if the pace was such an issue?
Well, because in his early years, he didn't have all that help offensively, right? And then secondly, he's just a supremely, he's a great scorer. Hold on.
Look how efficient he was. Like,
because you asked me a question, right? Like the year he averaged, he averaged 35, right? He shot 54% from the field. So if you're a guy and you're scoring on that volume with that sort of efficiency, and you don't have many other, competent offensive options around, there's the answer right there.
That's false.
Yeah.
Because you're using first you're using the pace of the 80s, not the pace of the 90s. Michael Jordan, for his first 7 years before Phil Jackson got there, was taking 23 shots per game. He ended his career taking 23 shots per game. Michael Jordan's shots did not change from the 80s and the 90s, no matter the pace. Again, he shot
how much?
His numbers did go down a bit in the 90s. But
again, even in the 88 season when he averaged 35 points per game, Michael Jordan was taking 25 shots per game. That is at the rate of players who were playing in the 60s.
Right, because he was like that.
Yeah.
No,
clearly superior. I mean, look at the efficiency.
Hey, Johnny, can I say something real quick, bro?
Dog, the man is him, bro. I mean, what you want me to say?
I'm tired of the excuses. We're literally comparing all number one options. If we're talking about Wilt was the number one option on his team, just like Kareem, just like Shaq. So this pace shit means nothing. That's number one. Number two, Jordan did have scorers on his team. He just traded them all away because he wanted to take the majority of the shots. So again, please stop with the excuses. This pace of play change bullshit. No, he just wasn't that.
Look how much showed the buddy.
Stop.
So you got
So like you don't think there's a like?
You got to stop the competition.
Look how I'm gonna explain it to Buddy so cold, Johnny. Look how I'm gonna break it down, bro. As a Miami dude, you gotta feel me on this one, bro. All right, $100,000 in 1982, $100,000 in 2024. Are them the two same things? That's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. Now, is it anybody's fault in 2024? They only got 100. That doesn't matter. The point is, if I'm comparing wealth, right? I gotta find whatever the ratio is relative to the time, right? Just like with inflation. And then translate it across like that.
So why does any of that matter if he was shooting at the rate of the people back in the 60s? Why does
because
any of
pace is
why does any of that matter?
I can tell you. Look. Pace is way more than just shot attempts. There's more rebounds. There's more skill.
Let me answer this question, bro. Let me get him, though. Let me help him out, bro.
What's to get?
There's more assists. There's more steals. There's more everything to collect. Do you not understand that?
Yeah, I gotta go. So man, let him land this plane.
Bro, you
Everything.
asked me.
All he's saying is more possessions. More rebounds leads to more possessions. More steals leads to more
No, that's
possessions.
not.
Everything that y'all saying leads to more possessions.
Bro,
Matter of fact, hold on, wait. I actually have some. Hold on, wait. Before we let y'all continue, I've been neglecting somebody who's been up here. Shout out to you, Sports Talk Only. You've been very patient. Let me get your take in on today's topic, and then we'll get back to the discussion. What is your take for today, sir? Thank you for joining me again, too. Appreciate you, brother.
I would say that Kareem is often overlooked as far as the GOAT debate is concerned. He's like, well, I would say this. At first, I had Jordan at 2, but watching LeBron really made me appreciate Kareem's career and all his accolades. So I put all of it, like all of his accolades, when I grade players and I say, you know, who's the best, I put everything, like who you played, the competition, accolades, your stats, like pretty much your whole resume. So when I look at the whole resume of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I have to say he's second next to LeBron. And I think he's overlooked because he was a Muslim. And I think Peter kind of alluded to it, like his demeanor and all that. But I also had a question for Peter.
Yes, sir.
Your logic does not make sense. You said winning as the man. Winning as the man is how you rank players. Outside of Jordan, no, hold on. Let me.
Okay, I thought you asked me a question. My bad.
No, he didn't ask the question yet. He didn't ask you the question yet. He made a statement.
I just want to say this real quick.
And he's gonna ask you the question. But go ahead, ask the question. No, say what you gotta say, then ask him his question.
Outside of Michael Jordan, who else has 4 championships and 4 Finals MVPs?
Shit, you probably got that one. You sound like it sounded like LeBron got that.
So who won as the man more than LeBron? Shouldn't he be second on your list? Outside, like Jordan is first. Shouldn't LeBron be second because he won as the man?
Yeah, like I said, that's the thing I value above all. But the 2020, I'm gonna go 1A, 1B. And then for me, again, I spoke on this before, Johnny. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember. But from 2007 to 2011 in the playoffs, I saw, you feel me? That's for me. Them demerits for me. That's just, again, my criteria. I know y'all finna get triggered.
It don't make sense, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on, bro. It don't gotta make sense, dog. I'm just telling
Let
you
him
how
speak.
I see
Let
it.
him speak. Let him speak. Let him speak. Let him speak.
I'm just telling you how I see it, bro. Like, perhaps I'm being unfair, but I used to see you when you got bullied and sent to the stove, bro. And now you throwing up gang sign like I know you, bro. That's, you feel me? Like, I know what the boy done did after the fact. I'm not gonna take nothing away from the man. You can't shit on 40K points, but again, bro, I just know you. I know you when you was the little homie getting beat up and getting your pocket turned inside out, and you ran, bro. You ran to the comforting hands of D Wade. You know what I'm saying? You ran like a, you know, feel me? I'm just from that era, bro. I just value competitiveness, and I thought that was soft by bro.
So what you're saying is your logic is inconsistent. That's pretty much
No,
it.
hold on. I got Mac Def in the building. Mac Def is up next. So is that the that's your final answer to your question, Peter? So I can get sports to finish up and we can let Mac Def come up.
Yeah, that's it. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah, I'm good.
Y'all boys
about
taking
going to the
shots.
store.
He said, "Hey,
That was
no,
funny. Okay,
this is what it is with Peter. Peter is upset at LeBron James. He really is. He can't get over what LeBron James did. He left Miami on top of that, so that's even worse. But let's let Mac Def get in the building. Shout out to you, Mac Def. Thank you for joining me again on another Friday Night Exposure. We were talking Kareem, but obviously, you know, things get a little tricky here. We always end up talking Michael Jordan and LeBron. What you got for us today?
Kareem will always be cemented in the GOAT debate. If you don't have Kareem in the GOAT debate, you really don't know basketball. That's all I got to say about Kareem. Period. Cemented in the GOAT debate. For all time. This peak thing, yeah, y'all kind of disrespecting Shaq, but I'm a digress on that peak with Shaq.
No, okay, hold on, wait. Before I do that, what is Shaq peak, Mac? What years would we call Shaq's peak?
2000 to 2003, the 3-year peak.
That's it? Just 3 years?
To me, that's his 3-year peak. Yeah.
So would you give every player a 3-year peak, or that's just what Shaq's peak is?
Peaks to me are 3 to 5 years. You got every all-time great had a peak of 3 years at bare minimum. Some had 4, some only could top out at 5. You can't have a 6 year peak, almost a decade peak. So three to 5 years is that's how I judge it, in my opinion. Every peak is 3 to 5 years in between that time span. To me, Shaq had a 3 year peak.
Okay. So the years that I used, well, it did work. I just added 2 more years to it because they put in 99 and 98. So continue with your conversation because you were saying we were disrespecting Shaq, but go ahead.
No, I was going to digress on that. I feel that Shaq peak is, I think it's top 3. Like Shaq at his peak is ridiculous. And
Well,
nah,
okay,
I would
let's do
put
this.
Kareem over there.
All right, let's do this. We got 2000 Shaq to 2002 Shaq. That's a 3-year peak. Now, this Shaq averaged 28.6 points per game, 12 and a half rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, and 2.5 blocks, shooting 57.5%, which is basically 58% from the field. We know Shaq's a horrible free throw shooter, which Kareem was better than him at. That's in 200 games. Let's go to Kareem here. Let me see if I can find something for Kareem because you guys shutting players' careers down for 3 years. This doesn't make no sense.
No, it's just peak.
Sturdy, are you out? Sturdy, are you controlling admin?
Yeah, my bad.
Okay,
My bad.
I just wanted to make sure. Shout out to P5. Thank you for joining me. I just wanted to make sure that was you. You good? All right. So Kareem,
no, it's not so much. It's not so much they cutting off. Ajani's like peak just means like when is this player at their very best? Because we all know a player's career is peaks and valleys. So at their peak is basically what's that stretch of time where they're at their best.
Well, first of all, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because listen, between 1971 and 1977, which is 6 years. Let me make sure I got this correct. No, I'm sorry, 7 years. This is 7 NBA seasons. Kareem won 5 MVPs in this span. He averaged 29 points per game, 15 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 3.5 blocks, shooting 55% from the field and 70% from the free throw line. This peak is better than Shaq. And if let's just say, you know what? Let me knock it to a 3-year. Let me do 1971 to 1973. That's 32 points per game, 16 rebounds per game, 4 assists, shooting 57% from the field. And 2 MVPs and an NBA championship. And he didn't have a Kobe Bryant to help him win 2 more championships. Because Kobe's obviously a 1B.
But wait, he had Magic though.
He had Magic and Worthy on the same team.
No, he didn't. 1971 to 1973, he only had Oscar.
He had Oscar.
He had Oscar. Yeah, at the end of Oscar's career, Oscar wasn't the Oscar that we know.
They don't know that. They don't know that. They don't know that.
Yeah. I'm not saying Oscar didn't help, but I'm saying he's not Magic and he's not Kobe. Not that Oscar.
He had Bobby Dandridge and other players. They were
they were a good team. I'm not gonna say they were. We were talking about Kobe and Shaq.
Shaq's peak is the regular season. That's cool. 28 points per game on 57% shooting, double. Okay. What we value with Shaq, we looking at that playoffs and the finals. Like the regular season, you named that he's right up there with Kareem. But the playoffs and the finals, what Shaq did, I'm putting that top 3 all time. We in a 3-year span, that was crazy. That 3P is crazy.
Every
that's
time
the part of his peak as well.
Every single time the cement's about to get hard on this concrete on the goalpost, it gets picked up and moved. I'm trying to tell you, boy. I'm telling you.
All right, listen.
I'm sorry. So a 3-year is only regular season. We don't count playoffs.
No, we're gonna get to the playoffs, Mac. You made a
goalpost.
You made a good point. You made a good point. Let's let P5 get his take in. Thank you, P5, for joining the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposure. We got a full panel here. We talking Kareem. What is it you know about Kareem, and what did you got for Kareem's career in general?
I think Kareem's a top 3 player of all time, in my opinion. When you talk about peaks, I think you could very well argue that Kareem had a top 10 peak, maybe even higher than that too. If you want to dive so deep into peaks, I think Kareem was an amazing player. When we talk about the longevity, he was amazing at his peak. Usually translated to the playoffs, and what's most important for me is you sustain a level of greatness for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think makes Kareem so great, if that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, indeed. Now, we were talking about him being the GOAT title, being stripped of him not being able to actually sit as the GOAT, because when he retired in 89, by that time, they were calling Michael Jordan the GOAT, and by 93, it was solidified Jordan was considered the GOAT. So Kareem kind of got passed over. Do you agree with that, or do you have another take on that?
Well, I mean, do I think that Jordan should have been labeled the GOAT after 5 years in the league? No. Would I label Jordan the GOAT after a decade in the league? Probably not. But I mean, if they were calling Jordan the GOAT because they were part projected and he was coming off a three-peat. I don't know how many teams three-peated since Bill Russell. I don't think many did, if they ever did.
None.
Even.
Yeah.
I think that, and Jordan was clearly something that the league had never seen before, or at least from an archetype standpoint, like a guard who could lead their team to winning as much as he did. Well, then, I mean, if they want to base it off of that, and, I'm sure there's a little bit of projection in there maybe because he was what? Or maybe, was that the year when he retired, actually? Was that after he retired?
93. In 93,
it was after he retired. It was after he retired. Look, so projecting's out the window, but if they had never seen a guard do that before, and they think that him doing that makes him the GOAT, they can do that. I personally disagree. I don't think it takes 10 years to make yourself the GOAT. But I mean, if that's how they want to judge it, then that's fine. I disagree with
9 years. 9 years.
Yeah, this was Jordan's career.
He didn't play second year, so really 8 years.
He got
technically. Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah. But this was Jordan's career after 9 NBA seasons, right? So as of 93, he had 3 MVPs, he had 3 Finals MVPs, 3 championships. He was an 8-time All-NBA player, 6-time All-Defensive Player, 9-time All-Star. He had 20,000 points, which is decent. But it definitely isn't the career he has now, which is way more illustrious than that. But obviously, we can see this is what Kareem's career was at that point in time. And obviously, the accomplishment says enough for Kareem. Like you said, he's definitely a top 3 in the GOAT debate. But again, the Zesty Jeffries didn't allow us to appreciate Kareem's career because they basically was just, like you said, touting Jordan for being the smaller guy, being the shooting guard, doing things like that. And obviously, like most people say, Jordan had the better peak. What is your take on the peak there, P5? Do you have that as also your criteria, judging players by peaks?
When it comes to ranking players all time, peaks really don't factor in too much. I use it as a separator, but rarely will it truly factor in for me. The parts where it does factor in is Shaq and Hakeem. I have Shaq over Hakeem because I think they're very close. But if I were to look at them at their peak powers, I'd probably have Shaq over Hakeem. But that's just that's down to preference. I don't really care who you have over the other. But when it comes to me, my criteria is mainly how good were you, or how long were you playing at a certain level, right? How did it translate to the playoffs, and what was your overall impact on the team you were on relative to the talent that you had? So that's kind of what my criteria is. Peaks, I use it as somewhat of a separator, but it doesn't factor in all that much. Not nearly as much as like something like longevity or overall impact would factor in.
All right, great take. All right, so before we get up to Shaq's peak playoff numbers and Kareem peak playoff numbers, what is your top 5, P5?
My top 5, I have ranges. As long as your number 1 and 2 is Jordan or LeBron, that's fine. I think I could make an argument to myself that LeBron's the GOAT. For me, it's given maybe one more year of all NBA level play, and LeBron will be my GOAT. Okay. And right now it's Jordan, then LeBron, but it's not at all very far. And LeBron can very well pass him even this season. Kareem is number 3, and then number 4 and 5, it's Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant.
Okay, all right. Oh, Kobe Bryant made the top 5 list, y'all. I know some of y'all, Twin Man, shut up. Don't even say nothing, Twin Man. Don't even say nothing about Kobe Bryant, Twin Man.
Not. P5 does drugs.
P5 is chilling. He has little munchies. He got munchies, vapes working on a Friday night.
That was the best top 5 we heard all night, P5.
All right, so let's.
Hey, Johnny, can I say this real quick
Go
though?
ahead, Twin Man. Say what you got to say real quick. Go ahead, Twin Man.
This is irking me. Peter, you're insane. You're insane. So you want to sit here. You sit here and your criteria, first things first, it's insane. You have Magic Johnson in your top 3. But then your rationale of being the man and being a winner, Jordan wouldn't even be your number 1. Because if you're talking about being a winner and being the man, that would be Bill Russell. How can you have Jordan number 1 when literally he got his ass whooped the entire 80s, He never beat Larry Bird in the playoffs. Since you're talking about being the man and being all this, he got his ass whooped every single time he played the Celtics. How is he? Now hold on. He had a great team in 88, 89. Hold up. He had a great team. 88.
You said real quick to him, man. You said real quick.
So I don't understand. I don't understand your criteria. It just seems like you're biased. So can you explain to me how you're just not contradicting yourself this entire time?
What great team in the 80s?
They brought up Bill Russell. I'm gonna tell you, for me personally, why when that motif of the man, why he don't fit that criteria, is because he's pedestrian offensively. Would anybody disagree with that?
I mean,
I disagree.
I disagree by far. Yes, I disagree heavily. I disagree.
So what would you
tremendously.
grade? What would you grade Bill as a scorer relative to his era? What?
You said offense. You said offense. You
He was an average scorer. He was an average scorer.
In his day,
he was an average scorer, and he was a good offensive player.
I'll go with
He was an average scorer and a good offensive player.
No, he was a wait. He was a great offensive player and he was a good scorer. He was top 15 in the NBA when he retired in points scored. So he's definitely a good scorer.
It's 8 teams in the league.
And wait. Mind you, he played in the era. Mind you, he played in the era where majority of the players were shooting under 40%, while he was shooting well above 40%. So he was even efficient for his era as well.
Yeah, the average. Yeah, the Peter definitely don't know this. The average field goal percentage for that era was about 42 to 44%. And
I know that. I know that.
Bill shot about
but
average,
compared to even somebody like Sam Jones scored 7 in the game 7. It was dudes putting them numbers there.
Sam Jones averaged 18 points per game, man. He averaged like a basket or two more.
No, I'm just saying.
KC was not the scorer. No, listen.
I didn't say.
Wait, Peter, we let you go. Peter, you asked the question. You said he was pedestrian on offense. That's a lie. Yeah, the man was great offensively. He was great. He was one of the best passing centers of all time. I don't know how you know. He was one of the greatest screeners of all time. He averaged
points per game.
He averaged 15. He averaged 16.
Points. In basketball, bro. Why do you always just talk about points?
Pedestrian.
That's not. But again, how many shots per game was he taking?
He don't get them shots because he can't score like that.
No, he doesn't get the shots because he plays the game of basketball. Listen, one guy doesn't have to take shots to score. There's 5 guys on the floor. Something that Jordan never learned. Something Jordan listen.
Know how we argue.
It's not because it's not pedestrian. It's not. It's the 60s. You can't call it pedestrian. And you're gonna call Sam Jones great. He averaged 18.
If you're gonna compare Bill Russell scoring to Jordan, if you're gonna compare Bill Russell scoring to Jordan or Kobe, Peter, then
we're not talking about that. Yeah, exactly.
But if you're comparing Bill Russell scoring to Jordan or Will Chamberlain or Kobe, then yeah, we understand. But if to say
that's what I'm saying,
pedestrian. Okay, you can't. Okay, we can't. If you want to say that, then yeah, Bill Russell is
16 points is pedestrian.
He's nowhere near Jordan.
Talking about?
Correct. He's nowhere near Jordan as a scorer. Nobody's arguing that.
What other adjective would y'all use for 16 points a game, bro? I'm so lost right now.
Wait. I can give the answer to this. Listen, when somebody asking the question, I feel they're asking Ajani this shit because it's my show. So let me answer the fucking question. When somebody throw a question in the air, if you not said nobody's name, I'm taking it as my question. I'm gonna answer the shit. Bill Russell was averaging 4.5 assists. That's how I can say he was good in offense. He was also a great screener, which is something you need in basketball to get open as a player, because you're not going to get open too much if you don't have somebody helping you and getting you some screens. So these aspects of the game is what makes Bill Russell great. Not only could he offensive rebound, on top of that. So we're talking about Bill Russell beyond just points. Points is not the only aspect of offense. And it's not the major factor of offense neither. There's a lot more to go to the game than that. Just that.
It's not the major factor.
No, it's not. P5. Go ahead, P5. Hold on, let P5, because P5 had his hand up real quick. Go ahead, P5.
Unless y'all are still interested in this Bill Russell thing, I don't want to interrupt it and move the topic. Are y'all still interested in this Bill Russell thing? Because I'll go after y'all are done with Bill Russell. Because mine is
okay.
I just want to land the Bill Russell thing with this. Y'all playing this game with Peter. Just get straight to the point. Peter, The reason why it's a contradiction when you say hands down the person that led his team to championships,
Bill Russell.
that's Bill Russell. Because
Yep.
when
Facts.
playing basketball, you can impact the game than just scoring points.
Facts.
Even Jordan impacted the game than just had more impact on the game than just scoring points. Matter of fact, any all-time great player, any guy. Matter of fact, all the 9 to 10 guys you have ranked above LeBron impacted the game more than just points.
I don't disagree.
And none of them led a team.
Of the team is.
Exactly, and none of them led more teams to a championship than LeBron James. Magic Johnson.
Because your guy Magic Johnson. I was gonna say, hey John, because your guy Magic Johnson, you got top 5.
He didn't.
He never led a team in scoring in the playoffs ever. Not one single championship. He led his team in scoring.
1987, bro. 87. He did.
No, even 87. He didn't lead his team in scoring in the playoffs. That was James Worthy.
Yeah, but he putting up. Hold on though.
30. He
y'all
averaged
talking
26.
about. Y'all was talking about Buddy averages little 4 assists or whatever. Magic averaging with his 20 points or 21, whatever. He averaging 10, 11 assists with that. All them is points, bro. Like, listen, y'all shitting on points, which is crazy to me. The game is literally determined by what team scored more points than the other team.
Not
team.
the individual.
The team, exactly. Not the individual. Exactly. Not the individual.
Peter, here's my question.
Hold on. I'm being told points.
No more questions for Peter, because Peter is gonna just switch the goalpost.
But I'm being told.
No more questions.
I'm being told that points ain't the cake. Points the icing.
No, it's not.
That's crazy.
No, it's not. Let's let Aaron go ahead, Aaron, because I want to get to Mac's peak with Shaq, because I brought it up and I'm gonna bring it up. Go ahead, Aaron.
I just wanted to say something about Bill Russell real quick. I don't think Bill Russell ever averaged more field goal attempts than any of his superstar teammates. So like they talk about his scoring, but he didn't really attempt that many shots as his other teammates.
That's kind of indicative.
Exactly.
Like,
it was James Worthy that led the Lakers at 87.
But it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter anyways. Bill Russell was a MVP. Bill Russell was the league MVP 5 times he won a championship. That means he led his team to at least 5 championships. Right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He led his team to the championship 5 times. That's 5 MVPs. We can't take that away from him. Then he was the coach for 2 of them. You can't be more of a leader than the coach of the team and the player. So there is 7 NBA championships that Bill Russell was the actual leader for the NBA championship. More than Michael Jordan, more than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, more than anybody in NBA history. So for anyone who wants to use the best player on a team that won a championship is why I have Jordan as the GOAT, is trying to knock Bill Russell, because Bill Russell should be your guy. Magic only led 2 championships. He wasn't the leader in 80. He wasn't the leader in 82. He wasn't the leader in 85. He wasn't. He wasn't. He was known as Tragic Magic. He was known as Tragic Magic. Y'all forget that.
Game is still wild. I don't care.
So now it's not about the points anymore. I got you. No, Mac, you didn't say that, Mac. Mac. So now, hold on, wait. So let's get to this. Shaquille O'Neal's peak in between 2000 and 2002 in the playoffs, he averaged 29.9, which is basically 30 points per game, 14.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2.5 blocks, shooting 55% from the field. And he was shooting 53 from the free throw line. Now, this is where you probably got this one here, Mac, because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in that same playoff dropped, which I think you into the playoff dropping conversation. He averaged 26.5 points, which is lower than his 29 that he was doing before, but he averages more rebounds at 17 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and he was shooting worse at 46.5%. So his field goal percentage went down, his scoring went down, and so did his assists go down during those playoffs. But mind you, he did face Wilt Chamberlain. He did face Dave Cowens. He did face Willis Reed during this era. Those were the centers that he had to face. Shaq was facing who? McCullough. Who did Shaq face the whole 2000 besides Rick Smits?
David Robinson, Ben Wallace. Tim
Yeah, you had to
Duncan.
face the
Talking
Twin
about
Towers in
No,
the.
no, he didn't
face
face
Ben Wallace.
He didn't face Ben Wallace.
Oh,
And
you talking about okay to
I'm talking about during his peak.
You
During his
got
peak.
Sabonis. You got Sabonis and Rasheed Wallace. You got the Twin Towers in San Antonio. Chris Webber and Vlade Divac,
the final.
Mutombo, and that's about it.
They
is-
faced Mutombo in the finals. Yeah, they faced Mutombo.
And Rick Smith. You could put Rick Smith.
Yeah,
up
that's
there.
So they got you got
elite.
He's not. No,
Yeah.
he didn't face better competition.
You got
at the center
okay.
position.
You got you got
He said his
you got
peak,
Sacramento, which is Divac. You got Sacramento, which is Divac. You got the Phoenix. I don't know who was the center on Phoenix. Obviously, was nobody great. Then you do. I think Sabonis was on the 2000 Portland team. You said Luke Longley?
Yeah, he was the center. He was the center for the.
Then
He
you
was the
said-
center on
then-
the Suns, but I don't know if it was for that at the time. I don't know.
Luke
maybe.
Longley was the
that's not a
center
flex.
on the Suns in 2000s. In 2000,
I know he's on the Suns, but I don't know. But I'm double checking right now.
The year
That's not the point. It's Luke
2000,
Longley.
he
Go
was
next
on the
the person,
Suns.
man. Next player is Luke Longley.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. And then I mean, because
That's not
the
a
teams,
flex.
the teams that they played the most was Portland, Sacramento, San Antonio during that span. Other than that, during the Western Conference, they faced Phoenix once, and that's really it. So it's really Sacramento, Portland, and San Antonio during that peak. So you do have David Robinson at the end of his career, Sabonis at the end of his career, Divac at the end of his career. They're definitely not.
He was at the Knicks in 01. I knew it.
Even
But the dude-
it was the Knicks in 01. He was Longley was on the Knicks.
Yeah, I knew he was on the Knicks. I'm like, I swear he was on the Knicks. What do you think?
See what you see how Michael Jordan destroyed the Chicago Bulls?
But Shaq's peak in the finals is he averaging 36. That's
It's
crazy.
even better than the playoffs.
I
He's
don't
even
know.
more.
No,
high
Shaq definitely translated from the regular season to the playoff during his peak in those 3 years. But for me, again, I don't consider a peak. I don't think you can limit somebody's peak because if we're talking about the best they ever played, there's no way you're going to tell me this is not a 10-year span. I mean, for the 3 years,
that's the prime.
This is just
Shaq has a 13-year prime.
I'm confused.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's just too many
Wasn't Shaq like
variables.
an all-star his rookie year?
Yeah, that's too much. Now we going peak, prime.
That's just too many variables.
It's a lot.
Can't have
It's
a
a lot.
9-year peak.
Look at what they do.
It's too many
That's
variables.
career prime.
And some people
Yeah,
still say
that's killing me.
but-
That's killing me.
I just want to let people know.
Last
I just want to let people know. In my opinion, like Kareem's peak was from 76 to 80, and during that time in the playoffs, he averaged
LeBron's
31.6
peak.
points. 31.6 points, 14 rebounds, about 4 assists on 58% from the field in the playoffs. That's in my opinion, that was his peak. But Ajani gave his perspective of what Kareem's peak was.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, nobody's peak, prime, career is better than GOAT James. GOAT James got a 20-year peak, he got a 20-year prime, and he's about to have a 23-year NBA career.
That's crazy.
Nobody's
No one
doing
has a
that.
20-year
So-
peak. No one
Nobody.
has a 20-year
What?
peak.
It's Kilimanjaro of peaks. That's what y'all don't know. It's the Kilimanjaro.
Maybe
Hold on,
Tom
Ajani,
Brady
so you
has a
telling me
20-year
that old receding hairline dude you saw in the Olympics, that's peak LeBron? That what you telling me?
Did you see LeBron do that up and under reverse dunk? That was great. That was like
Don't
23.
get me started on the Olympics. Please.
Let's not get started. We about to end the show. Let me let P5 back in. So P5, you said you had a last take. We'll start with you. Give us your last take on what you have on tonight's show, brother. I appreciate you for showing up again.
No problem, bro. No problem. I just wanted to ask because there was a bit of a reaction from certain people when I said I had Kobe in my top 5. Can I hear? Like, is there any pushback from that, or like, what's up with that?
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's a great list. Good night.
Yeah, it's several pushback. None.
Yo,
And Mac Def that have Kobe in the top 5.
Hey Johnny, you froze. I'm not gonna lie.
You froze. You gotta say that again, Johnny.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry, my bad. Besides Benjamin and Mac, I think those are the only. You guys are the only 3 that have Kobe in the top 5. Everybody else here doesn't have Kobe in the top 5.
I got
Five,
Kobe.
what's your region
Johnny,
for
I do
Kobe
want to
top
ask
5?
you. I do want to ask you what is your top 10? Because I just want to get a base.
My top 10. Oh yeah. Okay, so I had to readjust my top 5, so it kind of adjusts my top 10. It's LeBron number 1, Wilt's number 2, Kareem's number 3, Michael Jordan's number 4, Bill Russell's number 5. Tim Duncan is number 6. Dr. J is number 7. Kobe Bryant is number 8. Magic is 9, and Bird is 10.
Okay, I do want to say this. I don't have much pushback for your top 10 because my thing is I don't rank Bill Russell, I don't rank Wilt Chamberlain, and I don't rank Dr. J. Those are three players that I just like. 60s players in general, like Jerry West, like the Jerry Wests of the world. I don't rank them. The only like even the only player from the 70s that I rank is Kareem. So like I don't have much.
Dr. J from the 70s though.
Why don't you rank them though?
The reason I don't rank them is because I think the 60s, it's just an era of basketball that I don't think I could put into proper context, if that makes sense. I don't think I could understand what was so different about this, because if I'm being honest with you, I didn't do much research. I've never watched a single second of 60s basketball. Like the things that Ajani was breaking down about Bill Russell, I can't push back on because I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. So that's my thing. I've never watched a second of Bill Russell, a second of Wilt Chamberlain, a second of like Jerry West or anything like that. And the only player of the 70s that I've watched any amount of film on at all is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I didn't watch Dr. J, so I don't have much pushback for Ajani's top 10. That's just me. That's just me.
Okay. So okay, yeah. So if you do take away Bill Wilt, and then Kobe will end up being in my top 5.
Oh yeah, so I don't have much.
I think it's just the fact that a lot of people don't have him in the top 5 is because his resume is lacking. To me, most people say it's because the first 3 rings was because of Shaquille O'Neal and he wasn't the main guy. But I just say it's because I don't see how, in compared to many of the other players, his resume is just not there. I don't see that his production in the regular season and the playoffs is not better than many other people as well. So that's my thing on that. I just don't see he has a resume.
But I can say this though, I do respect P5's take on his 60s and 70s. Instead of him saying, listen, I'm not going to do my own research and basically make up my own premise of it, I kind of just leave it as is. He doesn't disrespect it. He just doesn't, in his mind, he can't, like he said, he can't put it in proper context, which is actually a great way of saying it. Because again, it's hard to understand that era. It's hard to watch that era, even if you wanted to, right? Because if I showed you this film right here of 1970, tell me what you think of this film right here, P5. Tell me what you think.
Jerry West on Oscar. Dandridge finally gets outside to help. McLaughlin, 3 inches taller than Gale. Goodrich gives it to Dandridge, who got away from McMillan, missed the shot. Slapped out. Goodrich gets it to McMillan. But the fast break is spoiled. Here's Jerry West, 22-footer, good. It's a 5-point Milwaukee lead. Long pass down to Jabbar, who gets loose for his hook.
Now, Keith, he didn't fool around that ball at all. He went for the hoop right away, and when he's doing that, he can shoot. He can really shoot. That's the kind of shots he wants to get.
He has 21 points. Wilt Chamberlain with 4 fouls. Didn't want to commit himself. Didn't want to get in trouble. He's never fouled out of a game, but he's got 4 right now. Here's McMillan missing. Forced the shot. Chamberlain right there for the rebound. Right time, right place.
Now, Kareem had gone out then, as he should have.
Jabbar again over Wilt Chamberlain. And it's a 7-point Milwaukee lead with 8.5 minutes to go, third quarter.
Man, them dudes were hooping at Johnny. Man, y'all get out of that shit, man. Man, you saw Kareem hit you with the sky hook and then hit you with the one dribble mini. Man, y'all niggas, man.
Jerry West was ridiculous.
Let me hear P5 take. P5 as a basketball fan. How do you view that?
I mean, respect to them. I get what people are saying when they talk about it was a high pace now, like this.
You can see it, right? You see it, right? You see the possessions? You see how many possessions?
I can see it. It looks fun, but it's just not my thing. I'm sorry. It's not my type.
Too many white players, I understand.
Nah, it's not even that. Like,
see, look, I like P5. See, P5 has a good eye test. He saw that. He saw the pace. He saw the pace.
When you started down, you already knew what the deal was, bro.
Hold on, wait. Let's let him finish. Hold on, wait. Let P5. Go ahead.
If I'm being quite honest, like watching the guy, I don't know if I saw it right. The camera was a little pixelated, but if I saw the guy, if I'm not mistaken, I saw a guy take a floater and it hit the side of the backboard. Like that's just not basketball that I think I could watch enough to form an opinion. I couldn't watch it.
Oh, so yeah, like P5, like you didn't see, like you didn't just see Paul George hit the side of the backboard in his last playoff game. But yeah, you know, only players in the 70s and 90s do that or whatever.
I get that. Ace 30, I get that.
You ain't got to put the 90s in there, man.
Ace 30, I get that. No disrespect to the 60s, no disrespect to the 60s or the rest of those 70s guys. It's not my type of thing. I'm sorry.
No, I feel you. I feel you. And I was gonna say this like in general, like people in general. That's just the effect of American media. That's just how it is. Like
If
the
I'm
way
being honest,
America.
I saw Kareem when it first started. I had no idea who the teams were until I started hearing the announcers say the players' names.
Just to let you know, that's 1972, 1973 NBA
The Lakers
season.
and the Bucks.
That was the Lakers versus the Bucks, and I believe that was the game that the Lakers lost their first game out of like 30-something games. I think that was the first time they lost in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that game. So that was just good finish.
Straight.
But again, yeah, appreciate your take, P5. Let's let Mac Def get in because we're gonna go round table and we're gonna get up out of here. Mac Def, any last takes, brother?
Nah, Kareem should always be cemented in the GOAT debate. Period.
Okay. And your top five again, Mac?
No argument.
What's your top five, Mac?
Curry number 1, Jordan number 2, Kobe number 3, Kareem 4, Bill Russell 5.
Oh, he's serious.
I really can't stand Mac, bro. I really can't stand you. Y'all see how Mac paused after he said Stephen Curry, right? You see, no, that's his top five. Leave it. That's his top five. He says his top five. That is his top five. I've heard it countless times. Leave him alone. But you heard him pause when he said Stephen Curry, right? He was like, "I got Stephen Curry."
Everybody got a dynasty in my top five. What's your top five looking like?
I love me some Curry, bro, but not no number one though. That's crazy.
Aaron, any last words, please?
No, I just want to say great show, and everybody had great takes except for Peter. Peter's shit. That dude Peter's bugging, bro. Sorry, Peter.
Well, Peter, you get to respond. Your last take, brother. What's your last take, please?
Nah, ain't no pressure, man. I don't take no offense, bro. I mean, listen, I could never be ashamed to value winning and value the things that win the game, which is scoring more points than the other team. I mean, if that's something to be shameful about, I mean, I don't know. The world done changed or something. But hey, man, it was fun.
All right. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Peter. You are the man. Thank you. You represent 10 toes down. That's all we ask. Stay 10 toes down. All right, Benjamin, any last words, my friend?
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, Kareem's a beast. Like I said, I think he got the second best longevity of all time. I just don't think his peak was as good. His playoff translation. And, again, I dock points for the 70s, but that's just me.
That's it. He said he docked points for the 70s. I can't wait till we start docking points for the 90s. We definitely docking Jordan for 1988 because he got fake steals and fake stats. Ruddy Hood Sports, what is your last take, sir?
Well, Kareem in '84 broke that scoring title, and then the next year went on to win a Finals MVP. So this was older Kareem too. This wasn't the spring chicken Kareem. So for anyone to even think that his peak wasn't through the majority of his career, or that he was lackadaisical in some sense during the playoffs or anything like that, you're fucking insane. Kareem is literally probably, like, I even had to move him up, man. I had to move him up in my top five and shit like that, because Kareem is just great, man. And like I said before, if we're talking about the embodiment of the NBA, the embodiment of what it takes to be an NBA player, and the skills and the dedication and the longevity and the athleticism and the skill and the IQ, Kareem embodies that. That is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So anyone who would think otherwise is just, they're fucking crazy, man. But that's all I had to say.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Ruddy Hood Sports. You've always been a good supporter of the channel, super chats and all that. Thank you for being a member. You are great. All right, Sturdy, land this home. Quick take. Last takes, brother. Make it quick.
John Stockton not a top 5 point guard, as you all noticed. Jerry West is a point guard. Stop letting these old heads lie to y'all.
He's a shooting guard. So is Curry.
Most importantly, be a critical thinker, right? Don't fall for the George Bush public school education. Don't fall for the basic American propaganda. Be a critical thinker. Don't be a Ben. Just talk out of your ass without doing your proper research. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusion. And develop your own opinion. And actually, don't be a bot. Be a human being. Reading is fun to mental. That's it.
Math.
Oh, reading is fun. You should read. We know Zesty Jeffries don't like reading. We know they're not good with math.
Come down
Twin
to that
Man,
math. Those
are you
possessions.
there? I'm gonna start calling you Quick Man. Quick Man, are you there, Quick Man?
Is that what we doing, bro? Is that what we doing? I'm gonna take a page out of my homeboy Sturdy's book. Kobe Bryant is not a top 10 player of all time. We need to stop lying to the people. Stop trying to force him into places he does not belong. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is absolutely the second greatest player to ever touch a basketball. They literally stole the title of GOAT from him to give it to the bald-headed menace from Chicago. So for them to sit here and pretend like Kareem wasn't him is just insane to me. We need to actually just start telling the truth about basketball and actually having criteria that make sense, and stop just sitting here pretending like scoring is the only aspect of basketball that matters. Because the last time I checked, you still need to end possessions. You still need to steal the ball, need to play defense. There's a lot of aspects that go into basketball besides just putting the ball in the hoop. I'm not going to pretend like scoring the basketball isn't important, but if you're not able to fill up a stat sheet like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did or the GOAT LeBron James did, you're just Michael Jordan, the fourth best player of all time, behind Wilt Chamberlain.
Ooh,
Hey,
shots
Johnny,
fired.
could you actually
Shots
end the
fired.
stream and we be backstage?
Huh?
Could you actually do that?
Yeah, we can do that. I can do that. Ishmael, any last words, brother?
Yeah, I just think that all this stuff it's all about consistency. What's your consistency for who in these rankings? And most of the people who are in disagreement with the things that Ajani speak about, or anybody in general, I just don't really hear the consistency. And so it's just too many variables. This peak possessions, this, that, if they were a winner, if they led their team to winning. Listen, it's just resume. I just see it as resume. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the second greatest of all time until someone otherwise gives me something more logical or that refutes this, and I really don't see it any other, aspect of it. He has the second greatest resume, second greatest of all time. And so based on from the production standpoint in his career and based on the accolades in his career. So I just give me a consistent argument, then maybe I would be open to that. So that's it.
All right, it's no doubt, man. First of all, I want to thank all you gentlemen. I want to thank my GOAT James Kingdom members. Thank you, Sturdy. Thank you, Ishmael. Thank you, Twin Man. Thank you, Ready Sports. Thank you, Aaron. You guys are great as being members of the channel. Always support what we do here. We look forward to keep giving y'all all the content that you're looking forward for, to see how great LeBron James is, because that's what we do here. I also want to thank Mac, Dev, Peter, and Benjamin for showing up, and the other guys that were here as well, P5, and all the other folks that stepped up and talk on the mic. I'm going to let y'all go back into the backstage so I can have fun with the rest of the chat line. Thank you, gentlemen. Again, you guys have all been great. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer. I do this every Friday night right here on the GOAT James Kingdom platform. Today's show, we were talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And obviously, Michael Jordan stealing the GOAT title from Kareem, because Kareem had a resume to put him as the GOAT. Without a doubt, at the end of Kareem's career, he was the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. There were some stats and some accolades not available for Bill Russell and Wilt, so that's why they're not included in that. But for what Kareem actually did, we cannot knock him for it. He was one of the greatest players of all time, and he should have been the GOAT, because he had this at the end of his career.
And these are all the rings that I got: grade school, high school, UCLA, and then all the rest of them are from events in professional life.
So this is the thing that, that players say that they sweat for, that hope to get and do anything to get, and you got a whole stick full of them.
Yeah, well, they accumulate, I guess.
or they just don't come at all.
Right, yeah.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, that is a winner. He led teams to championships since he was in high school. He was a phenom in high school. He was the greatest college player to ever play the game of college basketball. That's how great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. So he should be in your top 5. He should actually be in your top 3. He's actually better than Michael Jordan. But we're not going to sit here and go through this all night long. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great Friday night exposure with the Exposer. You guys know I do this every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Also multi-streaming on the FYF channel. Shout out to everybody that's a part of the FYF network. We have great programs over there. You can catch the Friday Night Exposure on FYF. You can catch In the Zone on FYF. You can catch Full Court Press on FYF. You can catch the Crossover panel on FYF. All of these great programs, not to mention when Lamont does his 10-hour lives. So FYF is always available for great content, just like right here in GOAT James Kingdom. Also, if you guys want to join me on Sunday afternoons with my partner, B. Lee, and Ajani, we do the GOAT James Kingdom show, 12 noon, every Sunday. This week's show is going to be another great show. We're going to have great content for you guys. We're going to be talking about the GOAT conversation like we always do every Sunday. But this is what we do best. This is the GOAT James Kingdom platform. You guys can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, IG, TikTok, Twitter, Discord, Twitch. We are all over the place. This is what we do best. We talk the game of basketball, and we let people come up here and talk the game of basketball. You can also check out becoming a member of the channel. As you can see, we got several members. We have special shows, special content. There are different perks for each membership. So check out all the different perks, and when you sign up for the membership, you can reach out to us at goatjameskingdom@gmail.com or at goatjameskingdomshow@gmail.com, and that's for all our members. We only respond to members, not to all you zesty Jeffries who want to stay safe in the comments. But again, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great Friday night exposure with the Exposer.
You have now been exposed by the Exposer.
And we're going to get up out of here. Y'all enjoy yourself. Peace and blessings.
If you're a basketball fan and you're tired of basketball shows that talk about fake narratives and using non-basketball terms like killer instinct, playoff translation, gravity, come to GOAT James Kingdom.